Chapter 138 Military Recruitment Building, Golem Lair. The mysterious merchant returns. Zhou placed the regional token of the Sand Gold Land on his territory tablet. The next second, a suction force came from the territory token and sucked this regional token into it. Rows of golden text notifications appeared. Congratulations on obtaining a Black Iron Tier regional token, Sand Gold Land, and officially becoming the regional lord of this region. A new area, the Sand Gold Land, Black Iron Tier, has been added to your regional territory. You have obtained a regional treasure chest. Exclusive to the Sand Gold Land, Zhou opened his regional territory column. He looked over. Regional territory, Blazing Sun Desert, Black Iron Tier, Sand Gold Land, Black Iron Tier. From now on, I officially own the Blazing Sun Desert and the Sand Gold Land. Zhou's lips curled up slightly. Then, he opened the treasure chest of the Sand Gold Land. In the end, he saw a palm-sized stone nest model inside. What's this? Zhou held it in his hand and observed it. A text notification appeared. Treasure name, Golem Lair, treasure grade, Black Iron Tier, treasure effect. After placing it in the territory, the Lord will have a high-level military recruitment building that can recruit golems. Treasure description, a specialty of the Sand Gold Land. It can summon a high-level monster soldier type called a golem for the Lord's own use. Do you want to place it? Zhou raised his eyebrows. His eyes were filled with surprise. High-level military recruitment building. He only had elemental archers as his high-level soldiers. These golems were actually evaluated as high-level soldier types. He immediately realized that this was a good thing. However, he would only know its true effect after taking a closer look. Thinking of this, Zhou immediately took it out of the Lord's residence and came to an uninhabited desert in the territory. He placed the model on the sand and chanted, "Place it in his heart." The next second, the golem lair immediately began to grow larger and quickly turned into a golem lair that was 7 to 8 meters tall. On both sides of the entrance of the lair, there were two mighty and ferocious golem statues standing. Zhou looked at the building. The building information appeared. Treasure name, Golem Lair, territory level, Black Iron Tier elementary grade, building effect, high-level military recruitment building. You can summon 3 Black Iron Tier elementary grade golems a day to become subjects of the territory and be used by you. Construction upgrade, 100 units of wood, 100 units of fine sand, 100 units of metal, 800 units of stone, 100 units of Black Iron Tier mist core, 50 units of pure iron. Building description, a high-level recruitment building that can recruit golems. The golems recruited have incomparably strong bodies and are not afraid of soul attacks. They are fearless in battle. All of them are fierce generals who look down on the battlefield. Prompt, this building can be upgraded to White Silver Tier Advanced Grade. Prompt, this building can recruit up to 5,000 golems. If the golems die in battle, they will not take up the recruitment slot. Can it be upgraded? It's just that the upper limit is a little low. I can only upgrade it to White Silver Tier Advanced Grade. And there can only be 5,000 golems at the same time. Zhou thought. However, he did not feel too regretful. It was already very good to be able to obtain such a reward from a regional treasure chest given by a Black Iron Tier area. He did not recruit immediately. Instead, he upgraded it first. 1,100 units of basic materials, 100 units of Black Iron Tier mist cores, and 50 units of pure iron disappeared. This golem lair had also been upgraded to Black Iron Tier intermediate grade. Treasure name, Golem Lair, territory level, Black Iron Tier elementary grade, building effect, monster recruitment building. You can summon 5 Black Iron Tier elementary grade golems every day to become subjects of the territory and be used by you. Construction upgrade, 200 units of wood, 200 units of fine sand, 200 units of metal, 1,600 units of stone, 200 units of black iron tier mist core, 100 units of pure iron. Building description: a recruitment building that can summon golems. The summoned golems have incomparably strong bodies and are fearless of soul attacks. They are fearless in battle. All of them are fierce generals who look down on the battlefield. Prompt: this building can be upgraded to white silver tier advanced grade. Seeing this, Zhou continued to level up. And quickly upgraded it to green bronze tier elementary grade. At this moment, the golem lair could already summon green bronze tier elite golems. In addition to the basic resources and the green bronze tier mist core, its next upgrade requirements had also changed from pure iron to green bronze tier material, forged stainless steel. Zhou had all these materials. Therefore, he chose to continue leveling up. After a while, the graphite nest was officially upgraded to a white silver tier elementary grade building. At this moment, he could already summon the white silver tier elementary grade golem leader. Apart from the basic resources and the white silver tier mist cores, the original green bronze tier material, forged stainless steel, had also become white silver tier material, adamantine. Zhou had obtained such materials from the white silver tier materials package in the novice lord test, so he still chose to continue leveling up. A moment later, after spending a total of 363,700 units of basic materials, 700 black iron tier mist cores, 700 green bronze tier mist cores, 700 white silver tier mist cores and a total of 900 kilograms of pure iron, forged stainless steel, and adamantine, the golem lair had already been directly promoted to the white silver tier advanced grade by Zhou. At this point, this monster recruitment building had already been upgraded to the upper limit. Zhou looked at the 20-meter tall golem lair. Treasure name: Golem Lair, territory level, white silver tier advanced grade, building effect, monster recruitment building. You can summon 1 white silver tier advanced grade golem lord, not scarlet lord, 5 white silver tier golem leaders, 20 green bronze tier golem elites, and 100 normal golems to become subjects in the territory and to be used by you. Construction upgrade: it has been upgraded to the maximum level of the building. Cannot continue upgrading. Building description: a monster recruitment building that can summon golems. The summoned golems have incomparably strong bodies and are not afraid of soul attacks. They are fearless in battle and are all fierce generals who look down on the battlefield. Seeing this, he immediately began to summon. The next second, rumble. 126 golems walked out of the golem lair accompanied by heavy footsteps and the sound of stones colliding. The leader was a white silver tier advanced grade golem lord. Greetings, my lord. I, Sha, am willing to serve you. Sha said in a muffled voice. Zhou nodded lightly. Then, he opened the other party's attribute information. In the end, he realized that the other party's interface was no longer a monster interface, but a normal subject interface. There was no change in ability. It still wore the same set of rock armor. As for loyalty, it was similar to the subjects that were summoned normally. Under the Lord talent of peace and prosperity, they were all at 71 points of loyalty and higher. Basically, they could be trusted. Zhou nodded in satisfaction. From then on, 126 golems that did not need to eat and drink would join his blazing sun city every day. With this group of golems with extremely sturdy bodies that were not afraid of soul attacks, standing in front as meat shields, he believed that every soldier behind them would feel a deep sense of security from them. Actually, he had also thought of letting this group of big golems go to the mini iron mine to mine iron ore every day. But looking at their skills, he felt that it was a waste of his talent to let them work in the iron mine. Only on the battlefield could their abilities be perfectly displayed. All of you will temporarily join the Blazing Sun army and fight alongside it every day. Zhou looked at them and said. Yes, my lord. Sha said gloomily. Oh yes. Where do you usually live? Zhou Zhou asked. I've something to report, my lord. Normally, we can stay in the lair. This lair can accommodate 5,000 golems. It's more than enough for us. Sa said. Zhou Zhou was deep in thought. This should be the reason why this golem lair could only summon 5,000 golems, right? At this moment, Zhou Zhou saw a caravan enter Blazing Sun City from afar. It was the mysterious caravan led by Jing Fugue. However, the other party had already shed that mysterious appearance and returned to the appearance of an ordinary caravan. There had been other changes other than that. The first difference is, their numbers and carriages had increased. When they left, there were only 28 people and 18 green bronze tier advance grade carriages. And now, the number of mysterious merchants has increased from 28 to 36. The number of carriages also increased from 18 green bronze tier advance grade carriages to 26 white silver tier elementary grade carriages. Zhou Zhou checked their information. They realized that they had already advanced from green bronze tier advance grade mysterious merchant to white silver tier elementary grade mysterious merchant. His mysterious merchant's exclusive skill level had also increased from green bronze tier advance grade to white silver tier elementary grade. Zhou Zhou immediately reacted. This was the upgrade brought to the mysterious caravan after the territory leveled up. It's time for Mu Gu to level up. Zhou Zhou thought. The second difference was, there were no goods on the carriage when they went. However, their carriages were already filled with goods. Looks like they've gained a lot this time. Zhou Zhou smiled faintly. Soon. The news of the mysterious merchant's return spread throughout Blazing Sun City. When the subjects heard the news, they all came out of their homes with joy on their faces. They found Jing Fugue and the others and got the mist core that they had earned from selling goods, as well as the daily necessities that they had always wanted. Jing Fugue and the other mysterious vendors immediately got busy like normal merchants. Zhou Zhou was deep in thought when he saw this. My territory has been upgraded, and the area has greatly increased. Now, there are mysterious merchants replenishing the supplies in the territory. At the same time, the goods in the territory can be circulated for profit. Not long after. With the establishment of Sand Gold City, Blazing Sun City will no longer have to worry about the lack of all kinds of resources. Especially water and food. There's basically nothing to worry about with Sand Gold City around. The upper limit of my territory's population should have increased by now. From tomorrow onwards, I don't have to worry about the population limit anymore. I can use the soldier-type recruitment books normally and continue to expand my military strength. Zhou Zhou's eyes immediately lit up thinking of this. To a lord like him, he would be able to continue to expand his forces. This was the result he wanted the most. At this moment, he saw Wu Tu leading the scout team into Blazing Sun City before the scarlet fog completely descended. After Wu Tu entered, he immediately saw Zhou Zhou in the distance. He was stunned for a moment before he immediately got off his horse and ran to Zhou Zhou. I've something to report, my lord. Wu Tu is back. He bowed respectfully. How was your harvest today? Zhou Zhou asked. I've already drawn the regional map of Thorn Dune. Also, I've also figured out the general situation of the few unclaimed areas in the vicinity. Wu Tu said respectfully. Let's talk at my mansion. Zhou Zhou immediately said after hearing Wu Tu's words. Wu Tu replied respectfully and followed Zhou Zhou back to the Lord's residence. Chapter 139 Natural Disaster Forbidden Zone. Organizing the Harvest. Lord's Residence. In the study. Zhou Zhou looked at the map of Thorn Dune in front of him. Regional map name, Thorn Dune map, current exploration rate, 3%, map quality, black iron tier, total area, 315 square kilometers, map introduction. This map has the rough terrain of Thorn Dune and related map information. It includes the range of scattered monsters, the range and location of the Scarlet Lord's territory. The area of this Black Iron Tier territory is even smaller than the Blazing Sun Desert and Sand Gold Land. However, such a small place actually has so many factions distributed. Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue as he looked at the many red dots on the map of Thorn Dune. The regional Lord Scarlet Lord, Sand Corpse Lord was the largest Scarlet Lord faction amongst them. There were 5 ordinary Scarlet Lord factions with Black Iron Tier territories. Other than that, there was also a Lord of Foreign Race and a Human Lord faction on Cerulean Planet. I've finally encountered a second Human Lord faction on Cerulean Planet. Zhou Zhou's gaze landed on the red dot of the Human Lord faction on Cerulean Planet. This Human Lord faction was called Thorn City. The territory level was Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade. He had about 200 military professionals under him. According to Wu Tu's description, most of his 200-odd military professionals were obtained by buying slaves from Fish Spring Town. He did not know where the other party got so many mist cores to buy so many military professional slaves. Zhou Zhou looked at the 8 Lord factions on the map and thought of something. There were too many little jerks. No matter how many bastards there are. And a fisherman's prey. I'll go to Thorn Dune tomorrow to catch these assholes here. Zhou Zhou made up his mind. The day after tomorrow was the day of the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield event. He had to think of a way to increase his strength and power before the day after tomorrow. Moreover, with his current power, these 8 Lord factions combined were probably not enough for him to defeat. Heaven had given it to him, but he had been punished instead. Naturally, he would not give up the opportunity to swallow this fat piece of meat in front of him. Tell me about the surrounding unclaimed areas. After Zhou Zhou understood the situation in Thorn Dune, he looked up at Wu Tu and said. Yes. My lord. Wu Tu said respectfully and took out a second map. This map was not a map of a specific region, but a rough map of the region. It roughly depicted the area within a radius of nearly 10,000 square kilometers of Blazing Sun City. Zhou Zhou looked at the map. There were a total of 5 areas drawn on it. The centermost part was the Blazing Sun City range that already included the Blazing Sun Desert and the Sand Gold Land. To its right was Thorn Dune, while the area on the left was Fish Spring Town. Directly below was a green bronze tier natural disaster zone, the Sandstorm Forbidden Zone. Below the Sandstorm Forbidden Land was a white silver tier area. As for the area directly above, it had not been explored yet, so it was an unknown area for the time being. Zhou Zhou frowned slightly. Fish Spring Town was a town under the Aurora Kingdom. He was getting along quite well with the Aurora Kingdom, so he naturally would not provoke the Aurora Kingdom after dealing with Thorn Dune. There was an unknown area directly above Blazing Sun City, so he didn't think about it for the time being. Directly below was a green bronze tier forbidden area, Sandstorm Forbidden Land. What's going on with this forbidden area? Zhou Zhou asked Wu Tu directly. I've something to report, my lord. The so-called Forbidden Zone of Natural Disasters. It refers to an extraordinary tier natural disaster in a certain regional territory or many regional territories that life forms can't interfere with, change, or restore. This kind of extraordinary tier natural disaster is different from normal natural disasters. Once certain regional territories are confirmed as forbidden areas for natural disasters, it often means that there are extraordinary tier factors involved in the natural disasters in these areas. For example, this green bronze tier, Sandstorm Forbidden Land. If it were a normal natural disaster, it would at most manifest as a short-term sandstorm disaster. But in addition to normal sandstorms, there are natural disasters such as elemental riots of wind elements and earth elements. Even if it's a green bronze tier professionals, once they're swept into the sandstorm here, I'm afraid they won't even last for 15 minutes before they're torn apart by the violent wind and earth elemental energy inside. If Black Iron tier professionals enter, they will die instantly. Only existences above the white silver tier can get through here safely. However, we can't stay for long. Otherwise, it's very easy for accidents to happen. There was once a white platinum tier adventurer who stayed here for a day and night and never came back. That's because this place is extremely dangerous to life forms and doesn't have much value in occupying it. Even powerful countries are not interested in occupying such areas. They don't even want it for free. That's why the countries on the high continent call this area a forbidden area because of the natural disasters. Wu Tu said. Zhou Zhou frowned. Most of his soldiers were at the black iron tier and green bronze tier. If what Wu Tu said was true, wouldn't he be completely helpless against this area? Then how did you cross this area and know that there was another area behind it? Zhou Zhou suddenly thought of something and asked Wu Tuesday. This sandstorm forbidden land has existed for decades. Professionals have already explored a sandstorm one-person pathway. I passed through this road alone and found out that there was a white silver tier area behind it. Wu Tu said. You alone? You're bold enough. Zhou Zhou looked at him in surprise. I've something to report, my lord. This sandstorm forbidden land has already been tried by many people. Even though there are some failures, most life forms have successfully passed through it. I've checked the past information of those who passed through it and summarized their experience. Only then did I dare to try. Wu Tu said calmly. Zhou Zhou looked at him. He realized that this young man's eyes and actions actually had the calm temperament of an adult after not seeing him for a few days. How rare. Zhou Zhou sighed. At the same time, he admired him even more. The young man in front of him had already surpassed most adults in many ways. Well done. Zhou Zhou praised. Then, he took out a bottle of extraordinary tier potential advancement potion from his spatial ring and handed it to him. This is for you. Work hard in the future. I won't mistreat you. Zhou Zhou said. Wu Tu was already dead loyal to him. In addition, he had done his job so well. He was naturally willing to spend a lot of money to nurture him. Wu Tu was stunned. When he saw the potion in his hand, his eyes immediately became filled with disbelief. Thank you for the reward, my lord. Wu Tu immediately knelt down and said excitedly. At this moment, his face was flushed red, revealing his youthful nature. Zhou Zhou went forward to help him up. In the future, continue to explore all the unknown regions and territories around Blazing Sun City. It would naturally be best if we could draw a map of all their regions. Also, if there are any new developments in the future, report to me anytime. The mission to light up the map around the territory will depend on you. Zhou Zhou patted his shoulder, looking like he was entrusted with a big responsibility. Even though Wu Tu did not understand the meme of lighting up the map, he could understand the general meaning of this sentence. Therefore, he agreed without hesitation. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. A moment later, Wu Tu left. Zhou Zhou looked at the map for a while before walking out of the Lord's residence. He first came to Monster Ranch and found Mugu. Just as he thought. Mugu's Monster Ranch had also advanced from the Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Monster Ranch Master and the Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Monster Shepherd to the White Silver Tier Elementary Grade Monster Ranch Master and the White Silver Tier Elementary Grade Monster Shepherd when he was upgrading this territory. All his skills had advanced from Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade to White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. Moreover, he could already manage 7 monster ranches at the same time. The upper limit of the number of monsters cultivated in each White Silver Tier Elementary Grade Monster Ranch had also increased from 1,250 to 1,500. Moreover, the upper limit of the monster cultivated would also increase from Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade to White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. Zhou Zhou was aware of this. He asked him to bring a group of soldiers and architects to upgrade the 4 Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Monster Ranches to White Silver Tier Elementary Grade before tomorrow morning. In addition, he would build 3 new monster ranches as backup. In this way, Mu Gu could nurture 6,000 fog monsters every day in the future. It greatly increased his fixed daily income. Zhou Zhou returned immediately after settling Mu Gu's matters. He did not return to the Lord's residence. Instead, he came to Ashburn and showed him the yellow gold tier advanced grade mist energy cannon blueprint, asking if he could learn it. Ashburn was shocked that Zhou Zhou could find the mist energy cannon's alchemy technology product blueprint. However, he still shook his head. "My apologies, my lord. I'm only a green bronze tier advanced grade alchemy technician now, not even a white silver tier alchemy technician. Therefore, I can't learn this blueprint for the time being," he said with some regret and shame. If possible, he did not want to disappoint the Lord. He also wanted to learn how to make this rare mist energy cannon technology. But he really couldn't learn it. Zhou Zhou was a little disappointed but not overly so. Ashburn was able to break through to the green bronze tier advanced grade alchemy technician in such a short period of time. This was already beyond his expectations. He could not ask for too much. It's a pity that this yellow gold tier advanced grade mist energy cannon blueprint is wasted. I can only find an opportunity to use it in the future, Zhou Zhou thought. Then, he returned to the Lord's residence and sorted out all the gains from the novice Lord test. The loots from corpses of more than 70,000 fire demons had finally been extracted at noon today. Putting aside the loots that he had calculated before, under the influence of the perfect loots, the remaining loots were 66,897 green bronze tier mist cores, 3,376 white silver tier mist cores, 514 yellow gold tier mist cores, 52 white platinum tier mist cores, 59,094 green bronze tier abyss crystals, 1,876 white silver tier abyss crystals, 114 yellow gold tier abyss crystals, 52 white platinum tier abyss crystals, 39,284 green bronze tier abyss contract books, 21,082 white silver tier abyss contract books, 12,151 yellow gold tier abyss contract books, 14 white platinum tier abyss contract books, 3,798 bottles of green bronze tier potential advancement potion, 374 bottles of white silver tier potential advancement potion, 12 bottles of yellow gold tier potion, 10 bottles of white platinum tier potential advancement potion, 2 spatial rings with a capacity of 100 cubic meters and 1,000 cubic meters respectively. Other than that, the Novice Lord test also brought 438 black iron tier advanced grade life profession talents to his territory. 30 green bronze tier advanced grade life profession talents. 18 white silver tier advanced grade life profession talents. 18 yellow gold tier advanced grade life profession talents. As for the unused Supreme Challenge immunity card, it had also become a useless souvenir after the Supreme Challenge. Other than that, there was also a large number of basic and some high-level resources from the resource bag. After calculating his gains, Zhou Zhou did not stay up late and returned to his bedroom to rest. Chapter 140 Farmer Professional. The Performance of a Soul Reaper. The next morning, in the master bedroom, Zhou Zhou woke up. He subconsciously opened the World Channel and saw the Lords discussing the battleground of the myriad races Lord Battlefield tomorrow. The event is starting tomorrow, but I feel that my military strength is still not enough. What should I do? Classic lack of firepower phobia. Actually, you can try to negotiate with the local forces and get them to help you. I'm poor. How can I have the capital to negotiate with those local big shots? Boo-hoo, are you stupid? Have you forgotten the marketplace? The marketplace is actually an extremely generous resource to most lords without the talent of a lord or low-level lord. It's very simple to use it and negotiate with the local forces to obtain some help. Indeed, in my opinion, if the marketplace is a lord talent, it is at least an epic tier lord talent. More or less. We can buy some cerulean planet specialties from the exchange and sell them to the local forces. It's very easy to accumulate a batch of funds, but we have to choose the specialties well. The local forces won't be stupid to buy things that duplicate the effects of local products. Brain, I understand. Practical operation, what do you know? I obtained a batch of initial funds by reselling the things in the exchange. I already have a mist core and a slave subject. I envy all the big shots who can do business. I haven't encountered any local forces yet. Another day I miss Big Boss Blazing Sunday. Previous poster, are you thinking about Big Boss Blazing Sun? You're just coveting his soldier class change certificate. I'm too embarrassed to say it. Zhou looked at the words of these lords thoughtfully. These lords are right. The marketplace could indeed be used as a public resource for all the lords. If he used it well, it might not be inferior to those lords with extraordinary tier and epic tier lord talents. However, the extent to which he used it also depended on one's ability. He suddenly thought of the Thorn Lord in Thorn Dune. Could it be that the reason why the other party could have more than 200 military professions at this stage was because the other party used the resources of the marketplace to earn profits and bought so many slaves? He thought only for a moment before he stopped because there were no other clues. After that, Zhou washed up briefly and walked out of the Lord's courtyard to the gate of summoning. A text notification appeared. Prompt, do you want to summon immediately? Yes. Zhou said. The next second. The gate of summoning suddenly lit up with a bright white light. Then, new subjects walked out in teams. After 3 to 4 minutes, all the new subjects walked out of the gate of summoning. Greetings, my lord. X-189. The 189 new subjects said respectfully. Hello, everyone. From today onwards, you are the subjects of Blazing Sun City. Zhou said. When the 189 people heard this, yearning appeared in most of their eyes. The remaining subjects were under the influence of the peace and prosperity of the country. Even though there was no expression on his face, he was looking forward to the lives of his subjects. Professionals, stand up. Zhou looked at everyone. A few seconds later, 16 subjects stood up from the crowd. Zhou looked at the 16 people, with a total of 10 men and 6 women. Among them, there was a white silver tier elementary grade chef, a white silver tier elementary grade martial master, and a white silver tier elementary grade carpenter. In addition, there were 5 green bronze tier advanced grade blacksmiths, 3 green bronze tier intermediate grade doctors, 1 green bronze tier elementary grade tailor, 1 black iron tier advanced grade merchant, 2 black iron tier intermediate grade farmers, and 1 black iron tier elementary grade blacksmith. Zhou looked at the 2 farmers and could not help but sigh. There were finally farmers. In fact, when they first arrived in the high continent, many lords had summoned farmers on their first day. But he was different. He had finally summoned farmers on the 10th day. Fortunately, my territory is not suitable for racial crops. Otherwise, if my territory is a land with fertile soil but I haven't been able to summon farmers, won't I be depressed? Zhou could not help but think. Then, he looked at their interface information. Subject, Wei Dayuan, Territory, Blazing Sun City, Life Profession, Farmer, Profession Class, Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade, Ability Overview, a farmer from the Aurora Kingdom's light-protected plains. He has a timid and introverted personality. His dream is to complete his wish to buy a house, marry a wife, and be exempt from military service by farming. In the end, he will become a rich farmer that the same village envies. Skills, Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade Rice Cultivation, Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade Farmland Conservation, Loyalty, 77, Potential, white silver tier advanced grade. The other farmer had the same skills as him, but his potential was white silver tier elementary grade. Then, Zhou Zhou found an assistant nurtured by Elder Zheng and asked him to arrange their respective locations according to their abilities and the current work needs of the territory. Then, he gathered the remaining 3,000-odd professionals, one Soul Reaper, and Nazario in the territory to the monster ranch. "Greetings, my lord." Mu Gu and Zhao Changshu, who had been waiting at the entrance of the ranch, immediately said respectfully when they saw Zhou Zhou bring people over. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. Then, he looked at the smiling Zhao Changshu and clearly felt that his smile was not ordinary. "What makes you so happy, Elder Zhao?" Zhou Zhou asked curiously. "I've something to report, my lord. Last night, I heard that Mu Gu was going to build a white silver tier elementary grade monster ranch here, so I immediately came over to help. These 7 white silver tier elementary grade monster ranches have been built after a night of construction. In addition, I've already broken through the upper limit of my potential and reached the new architect realm. I'm already a diamond tier elementary grade architect." When Zhao Changshu said this, the smile on his face involuntarily deepened. He had finally broken through to the realm he had always dreamed of. And all of this was all thanks to his lord. Thinking of this, he could not help but feel even more grateful to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou was also very surprised. He opened the other party's attribute panel. He realized that the other party's life profession class column had indeed shown that he was a diamond tier elementary grade. "Elder Zhao, with your current level, what rank would you be in the Aurora Kingdom?" Zhou Zhou asked. "There were only 2 white platinum tier advanced grade architects in the Aurora Kingdom before I left the Aurora Kingdom and joined my lord. Moreover, both of them have already reached the upper limit of their potential. So as long as no other architect breaks through to the diamond tier in the next 10 days, then I should be the number 1 architect in the Aurora Kingdom." Zhao Changshu smiled. Zhou Zhou also smiled and nodded. Then, he looked at the monster ranch in front of him. The 7 monster ranches in front of him were a third larger than the original green bronze tier advanced grade monster ranches. Moreover, the monster patterns on their fence became clearer. However, he could not see what monster was engraved on it for the time being. The 3 monster ranches were idle in these 7 monster ranches. Each of the remaining 4 monster ranches had 1,500 ranch monsters. From black iron tier elementary grade to white silver tier elementary grade. Zhou Zhou was no exception. He directly asked Nazario to use dragon might to control the monsters in 3 of the monster ranches and let the soldiers deal with them one by one. He brought the Soul Reaper to the monster ranch of the Sandstorm Believers. "Take care of them. Let me see your ability." Zhou Zhou looked at Maris and said. He was very curious about the actual performance of this Divine Kingdom level soldier type on the battlefield. "Yes, my lord," Maris said respectfully. Then, it sat cross-legged on the ground and placed the huge black scythe in its hand on its knees. Then, it closed its eyes. A few seconds later, the soul of Maris, who was surrounded by a black aura of death and wearing a black cloak, holding a huge black sickle in both hands, flew out of its body and floated in the air. An invisible might came from its body. Zhou Zhou's pupils constricted slightly when he sensed this might. This might. He actually felt that it was not much inferior to Bai Yi and Wu Xin's hero pressure. However, it was only a black iron tier elementary grade non-hero. Zhou Zhou felt that it was unbelievable. At this moment, Maris bowed respectfully to Zhou Zhou before looking at the 1,500 Sandstorm Believers. After observing for a few seconds, it flew over with the black sickle in its hand. At this moment, the 1,500 Wild Sand Believers in the Monster Ranch could not see Maris in his soul state at all, let alone realize that danger was approaching them. Soon, Maris flew in front of a black iron tier elementary grade Wild Sand Believer. It only waved the huge black scythe in its hand slightly, and the soul of an unconscious wild sand believer was hooked out by the scythe and fused into it. The huge black sickle lit up with a faint red light. The wild sand believer fell to the ground and stopped breathing. The entire killing process took less than a second. Then, Maris came to the second Black Iron Tier elementary grade wild sand believer and repeated his previous actions to kill it. In the following period of time, one by one, the wild sand believer were easily killed by Maris. Its movements were so relaxed. It did not seem to be reaping lives. Instead, he was cutting the grass with his sickle. Soon, this phenomenon was seen by the other wild sand believers in the monster ranch. They watched as their companions died in front of them for no reason. There were not even any wounds on their bodies. No matter how low their intelligence was, they were still panicking. But this was useless. The silent death continued. More than a minute later, Maris, which had killed nearly 300 sandstorm believers, suddenly stopped. Then, an even stronger power came from its soul. It had broken through. It was already a Black Iron Tier intermediate grade Soul Reaper. This also meant that it could already include the Black Iron Tier intermediate wild sand believers in its killing range. More than 6 minutes later, Masri, who had already advanced to the Black Iron Tier advanced grade, returned to its body with the huge black sickle. Then, it woke up. My lord! My god of death scythe is already filled with souls. These souls need me to send them to the netherworld one by one before I can continue harvesting the souls of the enemy. So I want to apply to rest for a while. Maris said respectfully. It's okay, rest first. Leave the remaining monsters to others to deal with. Save your strength to deal with the enemies later. Zhou suppressed the shock in his heart and nodded. Yes, my lord. Maris said respectfully. Then, it closed its eyes and placed its hands on the god of death scythe to pray. During the prayer process, the light of the already red and shiny god of death scythe also began to gradually fade. Zhou retracted his gaze and looked at the monster ranch of the wild sand believers. The original 1,500 wild sand believers were only left with more than 400 green bronze and white silver tier. The other 1,000 Black Iron Tier wild sand believers had all been turned into soulless corpses without any wounds by Maris. Killed more than 1,000 wild sand believers in 8 minutes. So this is a Divine Kingdom Tier soldier type. Zhou could not help but click his tongue. Chapter 141 Over 10,000 soldiers. Opening the trade route. Zhou was not only shocked. The speed of Soul Reaper's growth also surprised him. He had seen the skills of the Soul Reaper and knew how this Divine Kingdom soldier type grew. The Divine Kingdom tier talent, Soul Absorption, was the main reason why it could grow so quickly. The so-called Soul Absorption referred to the process of Soul Reapers harvesting souls. They could absorb a trace of pure soul power from the other party's soul and fuse it into their own soul to accelerate their growth. It could be said that, as long as there was enough soul harvest, the Soul Reaper would be able to increase its strength rapidly without any bottlenecks until it reached the upper limit of its potential. A Soul Reaper is already so terrifying. In that case, how terrifying would the god of death Thanatos, who has the Soul Reaper Legion, be? Zhou could not help but think. The final summary of the Soul Reaper recruitment book stated that they had terrified countless god spirits at their peak. He felt that it was a little exaggerated when he first read it. But now, Zhou felt that these words were probably not empty words. A moment later, 6,000 ranch monsters were all dealt with. Zhou took out 10 conquerors' blast furnaces to extract the spoils of war from their corpses. Half an hour later, the loots were extracted from all 6,000 monster corpses. Under the influence of the perfect loots, other than the +1 monster flesh, skill book, potion formula, poison sac, black scorpion poison crossbow, and other normal items. He obtained 25,982 green bronze tier mist cores. 3,678 white silver tier mist cores. 144 yellow gold tier mist cores. A total of 5,784 class change certificates for the 3 types of soldier types. There were also 1,006 sword shield soldier recruitment books. 945 poison crossbow soldier recruitment books. 1,002 Pudeo soldiers recruitment books. 4,212 kilograms of light drawing crystal. Zhou Zhou looked at these gains and was very satisfied. As the monster ranch advanced to the white silver tier elementary grade. Under the effect of the perfect loots, the monster ranch could already give him yellow gold tier loots. Then, he handed the light drawing crystal to Zhao Changshu and the others to deal with. Then, he led his men to clean up another side of the time ruins. After emerging from the time ruins, Zhou Zhou obtained another batch of bronze-level fire demon fog wolf outfit, 4,926 green bronze tier mist cores, 20 white silver tier mist cores, and 384 elemental archer recruitment books. Then, Zhou Zhou took these soldier-type recruitment books and went to the Gate of Summoning. He threw all of them into the Gate of Summoning. A moment later. A total of 3,349 military professionals stood neatly in front of Zhou Zhou. They all looked at their lord with serious expressions. Zhou Zhou could not help but take a deep breath. He had gained more than 3,000 military professionals in a day. If it was in the past, his territory really could not hold so many soldiers. However, that was different now. He continued on to the golem lair and summoned 126 golem soldier types. When we attacked the golem territory yesterday, we sacrificed a total of 132 military professionals. My soldiers went down to 9,789. Today we added 3,349 more today. In addition to the 252 golem soldier types I recruited yesterday and today. The number of soldiers under my command has officially exceeded 10,000, reaching 13,390. Zhou Zhou was quite satisfied with his achievement. In just 10 days, he had over 10,000 military professionals under his command. He believed that he was probably second to none among the lords of the Cerulean planet. After a while, the soldier types under him could increase to 50,000, 100,000, or even hundreds of thousands. At this moment, a carriage rushed over from afar. The carriage suddenly stopped when they were still some distance away from Zhou Zhou. Then, an old man alighted from it and walked straight to Zhou Zhou. "Greetings, my lord. I'm back." Zheng Yuanqi said respectfully. "Elder Zheng, you've worked hard. How did your trip go?" Zhou Zhou nodded and asked. "I didn't let you down. Zhang Bowen has always been passionate about developing Fish Spring Town. In addition, his teacher, has appeared before him. Therefore, he almost immediately agreed after I mentioned the establishment of the trade route." After saying that, Zheng Yuanqi took out a map and handed it to Zhou Zhou with both hands. Zhou Zhou took it. He realized that this was a regional map. The rough terrain around Blazing Sun City and Fish Spring Town was drawn on it. On this map, 8 green lines connected Blazing Sun City, Fish Spring Town, and Sand Gold City. These 8 green lines are the trade routes that I and Zhang Ben have discussed together. They can be used normally and are safer. Merchants, convoys, and even normal pedestrians can use these 8 trade routes to travel back and forth between the 3 cities. The premise is that no fog monsters will appear near these trade routes. Zheng Yuanqi said. There are no longer any wild fog monsters in the Blazing Sun Desert. The scattered fog monsters have long been dealt with. The scattered fog monsters in the Sand Gold Land should be dealt with today. Fish Spring Town should have already dealt with all the fog monsters. Zhou Zhou said. After today. These trade routes can be officially activated. After Zheng Yuanqi finished speaking, the two of them looked at each other and saw the joy in each other's eyes. Especially Zhou Zhou. What he valued were not just these 8 safe trade routes, but the meaning behind the 8 trade routes. As long as the merchants in his territory could safely enter Fish Spring Town through these 8 trade routes, they could enter the other regional cities of the Aurora Kingdom that bordered Fish Spring Town. Therefore, it did not just open a route to Fish Spring Town but the entire Aurora Kingdom. "Thank you, Elder Zheng," Zhou Zhou said seriously. "My lord, you're being too serious. This is just my duty." Zheng Yuanqi chuckled. "Elder Zheng. The administrative hall has been established. It's right where you reserved it. You can take a look and arrange how you are going to use this building." Zhou Zhou nodded and thought of the administrative hall. Zheng Yuanqi's eyes lit up. Then, he immediately bade farewell to Zhou Zhou and headed towards the administrative hall. Zhou Zhou also went to look for Qian Jiangsheng, wanting to bring him to Sand Gold City and let him be the city lord. Actually, his previous idea was to choose a mysterious merchant from the mysterious merchant team and let him be the city lord of Sand Gold City. However, after the more professional former finance minister, Qian Jiangsheng, arrived, he immediately changed his mind and made him the city lord. When Qian Jiangsheng heard this request, he thought only for a moment and agreed readily. This job could indeed allow him to unleash his abilities. Afterwards, Zhou Zhou left 3,390 military professionals in the territory to protect Blazing Sun City. Meanwhile, he brought Qian Jiangsheng, Nazario, Maris, and the remaining 5,000 military professionals to Desolate City to meet up with Bai Yi and Wu Xian. Chapter 142 Zhou Zhou's Plan. Attack the Thorn Dune. The army led by Zhou Zhou was currently advancing on one of the 8 trade routes that Elder Zheng had mentioned. Zhou Zhou was sitting in a carriage with Elder Qian and observed the situation outside. He realized that the terrain was really very flat compared to other places, as Elder Zheng said. There was no need for repairs to allow pedestrians and carriages to move normally on the road. He retracted his gaze and waved his right hand. A heavy box appeared in front of Elder Qian. "Elder Qian. There are 1,000 yellow gold tier mist cores inside. They can be used as funding for your work after you take over. You can just use them to perfect the development of Sand Gold City. Also, there's some wealth there which you can also use freely. If it's not enough, you can apply to Blazing Sun City at any time." Zhou Zhou said. The Sand Gold City had yet to become a true commercial city. He had to spend some money in the early stages if he wanted to do this. That was why he took out so many yellow gold tier mist cores. Honestly, so many yellow gold tier mist cores was not a small sum even for him. "Don't worry, my lord. It's enough for me with so many mist cores. If I do need more mist cores, they'll just establish the taxes of the Sand Gold City to develop the city when the time comes. As for the specific income and expenditure, I will hand it over to the Lord every month." Qian Jiangsheng said confidently. As a former kingdom-level finance minister, he had done similar things before he climbed to that position. He had even experienced more difficult environments and handled them very well. Therefore, he was still confident. "Don't worry, Elder Qian." Zhou Zhou acknowledged. Then, he looked in the direction of the Sand Gold City and thought about his future development. In his plan, Sand Gold City would be the first image that Blazing Sun City had established to the outside world. It would appear in the vision of the living beings of the High Continent. Blazing Sun City itself remained in a closed-off state. Only subjects were allowed to enter and leave. No large-scale outsiders were allowed to enter. They could let 1 or 2 outsiders in if they were without any ill intentions. For example, the princess from the Aurora Kingdom, who would arrive at some point in time. Blazing Sun City was his base camp after all. There would be many of his secrets here in the future with the mythical tier talent of the King of Lutes. The subjects were loyal to him. He could let them come into contact with some secrets without worry. But outsiders? He would not let them come into contact with any secrets. This might attract the guesses of the life forms outside, but in a dangerous place like the High Continent, Zhou felt that there was nothing wrong with being more mysterious. An hour later, Zhou and the others arrived at Sand Gold City more than half an hour in advance with the advantage of the trade route. Sand Gold City. In the Lord's courtyard. Greetings, my lord. Zhang Kaishan and his brother said respectfully. Zhou nodded. After a few simple words, he introduced Qian Jiangxing to them. This is Qian Jiangxing, Elder Qian. He was the former finance minister of the Aurora Kingdom. He will be in charge of Sand Gold City. The two of you will focus on listening to Elder Qian and develop Sand Gold City well. Do you understand? He said. Yes, my lord. The two of them said respectfully. Then, they couldn't help but look at Qian Jiangxing. They have heard about his reputation since they were young. If they were to rank the people who had contributed to the development of the Aurora Kingdom in the past 50 years, this person could definitely enter the top 5. They did not expect their lord to be able to invite this big shot over. Zhang Kaishan and his brother were completely convinced. However, their expressions soon became strange. They remembered that the previous great general of the Aurora Kingdom, Wuxia, and one of the 3 previous prime ministers, Jing Yuanqi, were also in Blazing Sun City and were holding extremely important positions. Our lord seems to be very good at poaching talents. The two of them muttered in their hearts. Zhou naturally did not know what the two of them were thinking. After chatting with the 3 of them about the development of Sand Gold City and the business path, he left to look for Bai Yi and Wuxia. In the tent of the military camp. After Zhou saw Bai Yi and Wuxia, he told them about his plan to take down Thorn Dune today and handed them a copy of the regional map. After watching for a while, the two of them told Zhou the judgment that they could attack. Zhou was not surprised. With his current strength, he had a high chance of winning even if it was a green bronze tier area. Not to mention a mere black iron tier area. I've something to say, my lord. Just as Zhou and Wuxia were about to take action, Bai Yi gritted her teeth and suddenly said. What is it? Zhou was stunned. Wuxia also stopped. I want to give the position of Legion Commander of the Blazing Sun Army to Elder Wu. My lord, please approve. Bai Yi lowered her head and said. The two of them were stunned as soon as these words were spoken. Why do you say that? Zhou frowned. My lord. Elder Wu is far better than me, in terms of strength, experience and confidence in the army. I feel that I'm far inferior to old Wu in terms of leading troops in battle. Continuing to be in the position of Legion Commander will only make me feel more inferior. In addition, this is also irresponsible to the other brothers and sisters in the army. That's why I made such a request to my lord. Bai Yi said sincerely. Elder Wu, what do you think? Zhou could understand her thoughts. However, he did not voice his thoughts. Instead, he looked at Wuxia. I think Legion Commander Bai should continue. He'll just be a deputy commander. Wuxia chuckled. Why? With your ability, you can definitely have a better position and lead the Blazing Sun Army to a more glorious future. Bai Yi couldn't help but ask. I've only led soldiers for 50 more years than you. When I was your age, I didn't even get to see a hero. And you're a hero before you were 20. Don't think you're not good enough. If you're not outstanding, what will the other people think? Moreover, I'm already old. My future achievement is destined to be limited. You're young and you became a hero at such a young age. You're the one who can truly bring the Blazing Sun Army to greater heights as a Legion commander. Furthermore, the position of Legion Commander can also train you and allow you to grow faster. I don't want to steal your glory. Wu Xian said seriously. Bai Yi was speechless. What a powerful talker. Zhou Zhou, who was already convinced, could not help but think. As for the abilities you don't know yet, I can teach you if you want to learn. Wu Xian smiled at Bai Yi. Bai Yi did not react for a moment. Aren't you going to address him as your teacher? Zhou Zhou reminded. Only then did Bai Yi react and immediately bowed respectfully to Wu Xian. When Wu Xian saw this, he immediately felt extremely comfortable. I'm a hero now and I have a disciple who is a hero but not even 20 years old yet. This achievement is probably second to none in the history of human heroes, right? He had to tell old Zheng when he got back. This old fellow usually flaunted how many disciples he had and how outstanding they were. Now, this disciple of mine is equivalent to 100 of them. No. At least 1,000. Let's see how he refutes this time. Wu Xian had already thought of how to show off in front of Zheng Yuanqi. Elder Wu. The Aurora Kingdom's imperial physician, Elder Baiyuajing, also came to Blazing Sun City today and became a subject of Blazing Sun City. Can he treat your injuries? Zhou Zhou asked his own question seeing that this episode had passed. Old Bai is here too. Wu Xian said subconsciously. He shook his head. I'm an old acquaintance with Old Bai. However, Old Bai can only ease my injuries and make me feel better when my injuries relapse, it's impossible to heal. My injuries can only be healed by legendary tier doctor professionals or physician heroes. Those below this level can't do anything to my injuries. Wu Xian said. How did you get these injuries? Zhou Zhou could not help but ask. It was caused by a scarlet hero from the Taiyan Kingdom. Wu Xian said. Zhou Zhou stopped probing. 15 minutes later, a total of 10,000 soldiers had gathered at the entrance of Sand Gold City. His lordship will definitely win today's battle. Zhang Kaishan shouted from the city wall. The other soldiers stationed in Sand Gold City also roared and cheered. Zhou Zhou smiled. Then, he set off with the soldiers. At the same time, Thorn Dune. The territory of the human lord of Cerulean planet, the Thorn Lord. Thorn Lord Zhang Yud was sitting on a recliner, watching the chat in the Sun Extermination Association chat group. He would write some words to encourage the other lords in the Sun Extermination Association to gather and eliminate the Lord of the Blazing Sun from time to time. As for these comments, when the other lords in the Sun Extermination Association saw this, they either pretended not to see it or comforted him. Thorn Lord, don't worry. Tomorrow is the Myriad Races Lord Battlefields event. Why would the Lord of the Blazing Sun come out to find the enemy to exhaust his troops? That's right, old Zhang. Don't worry. You're very safe. What are you afraid of? When the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield begins, we will definitely help you eliminate the Lord of the Blazing Sun. After reading it, Zhang Yud immediately closed the chat group indignantly. Talk is cheap. You're not the closest to the Lord of the Blazing Sun's territory. We agreed to help each other when I established the Sun Extermination Association. In the end, no one was willing to help me now after knowing that I was the closest to the Lord of the Blazing Sun's territory. Zhang Yud opened the group chat again and wanted to leave. However, he looked at the option of leaving the group chat and hesitated for a long time. In the end, he did not press it. After a long time, he closed the group chat screen in front of him and let out a long sigh. I hope the Lord of the Blazing Sun really won't come. 3 hours later. I've something to report, my lord. There's an unfamiliar army outside. They've already surrounded Thorn City. There are about 10,000 of them. The leader claims to be the Lord of the Blazing Sun. My lord. What should we do? A scout rushed to Zhang Yud, who was sleeping on the recliner, and said in a panic. Zhang Yud, who was originally sleepy, immediately sat up when he heard this. He widened his eyes and looked at the scout in front of him. What? Chapter 143 The Potential of a Lord. Zhang Yud looked at the scout in front of him as if he had been struck by lightning. He stayed for a moment, then he rushed towards the city wall like a madman. After arriving at the city wall, he climbed up the 3-meter-tall city wall and stuck his head out to look outside the city wall. And then he almost fainted. Because he saw a black mass of heads outside the city wall with almost no end to it. Moreover, most of them were military professionals wearing soldier-type armors. The others also wore some standard equipment and outfits that he did not recognize. The most ridiculous thing was, he even saw a group of monsters that were at least 4 to 5 meters tall standing together with other human military professionals. Zhang Yud's legs went weak facing the pressure of 10,000 military professionals. Why are there so many people? Why does the Lord of the Blazing Sun have so many military professionals? How is this possible? His eyes were filled with disbelief. The 11 Lords of the Sun Extermination Association added up to about 3,000 military professionals. They felt that they could easily destroy the Lord of the Blazing Sun. He had even thought of how to split the Lord of the Blazing Sun's wealth in advance. Now that he thought about it again, he felt that it was a huge mockery. 3,000 against 10,000 military professionals. What could he use to fight? Should he hit him with his head? And how did they get here so fast? The Myriad Races Lord Battlefield event is starting tomorrow. Shouldn't the Lord of the Blazing Sun be busy preparing for tomorrow's event? Zhang Yud muttered. After he came back to his senses, he immediately opened the Sun Extermination Association chat group, wanting to tell them about the Lord of the Blazing Sun. However, he suddenly thought of the treatment he had received previously. After a long time, Zhang Yud's eyes flashed with resentment. I'm finished. You guys, don't even think about running away. He whispered. Outside the city wall. Zhou Zhou looked at the 3-meter-tall city wall in the distance with a calm expression. The other party only had more than 200 military professionals. If he still didn't surrender, then he was willing to call the other party a warrior. That was indeed the case. A moment later. Thorn City's city gate was actually opened and a person walked out in a daze. It was Zhang Yud. He was followed by more than 400 people. Among them were more than 200 military professionals and more than 100 normal subjects. At this moment, they did not have any equipment on them. They arrived in front of Zhou Zhou bare-handed. Big Boss Blazing Sunday. I surrender. I'm willing to tell you some information about the lords who wanted to harm you on the World Channel as long as you spare my life. Many of the lords I know are near the Aurora Kingdom. They can easily find you if they want to harm you. Zhang Yud said fearfully. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. There are even unexpected gains. How do you know that? He asked. Because they established the Lord Alliance of the Sun Extermination Association. My territory is also very close to Big Boss Blazing Sun's territory, so I was forced to join. Zhang Yud said awkwardly. Tell me the details. Zhou Zhou said. Yes. Zhang Yud seemed to have seen some hope of survival and immediately told Zhou Zhou everything about the Sun Extermination Association. Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue in wonder after listening to it. He did not expect these 11 lords to really rely on the lord function of the marketplace to earn more than 3,000 military professionals. However, this was naturally useless to him. Abandon your status as a lord. Join Blazing Sun City and become my subject. Then he'll learn about you from your previous subjects. If you're a morally corrupt scumbag, I won't keep you either. But as long as you're not and do what I said, I can spare your life. Zhou Zhou looked at him and said. I'll give up my status as a lord now. I'm also willing to become your subject. Also, Big Boss Blazing Sun, don't worry. Even though I'm not really a good person, I've never done anything bad. Zhang Yud was very confident in this aspect. After saying that, he immediately closed his eyes. 10 seconds later. He opened his eyes and looked at Zhou Zhou expectantly. Big Boss Blazing Sun, I've already given up my status as a lord. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. Then, he approved his application to join Blazing Sun City. Then, he opened the information on the other party's subject interface. Subject, Zhang Yud, Territory, Blazing Sun City, Profession Class Name, Adventurer, Profession Class, Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade, Ability Overview, originally one of the lords of the myriad races. Later, he surrendered to the Lord of the Blazing Sun and gave up his status as a lord. He became an adventurer and a subject of the Lord of the Blazing Sun. Skills, Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Summon Thorn, Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Swift Movement, Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Fireball Spell, Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Ice Wall Spell. Loyalty, 78, Potential, White Silver Tier Advanced Grade. Zhou Zhou looked at the other party's potential panel. He was certain of one thing. If he did not have the buff of a lord, there was no upper limit to a lord's potential. And if he lost his status as a lord, then his original upper limit of potential would be exposed, limiting his strength. The identity of a lord is probably the greatest treasure for us lords. Zhou Zhou could not help but think. Then, he came in front of Zhang Yud and extended his right hand. Welcome to Blazing Sun City, he said. Seeing this, Zhang Yud quickly shook hands. At the same time, a virtual screen appeared in front of Zhou Zhou. Current stealable items, 1 Gradeless Adventurer Class Change Certificate, Stealing Success Rate, 100%, 1 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Skill Book, Summon Thorn, Stealing Success Rate, 100%, 9 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, Stealing Success Rate, 100%. Zhou Zhou ignored these low-level skills and gave the order to steal the Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. The next second, 9 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments appeared out of thin air in his spatial ring. A smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's lips before disappearing. Can I really live? Zhang Yud said in disbelief, seeing that Zhou Zhou really had no intention of killing him. Zhou Zhou ignored him. Zhang Yud was even happier when he saw this. This meant that the other party really had no intention of killing him. As for his status as a lord, previously, he could not bear to part with his identity as a lord because he wanted to use this identity to make a name for himself in the High Continent. This was also the reason why he joined the Sun Extermination Association. However, losing his status as a lord was naturally nothing compared to losing his life. Not only that, he suddenly realized that he felt much more relaxed without his status as a lord. He seemed to have returned to his attitude when he was on the cerulean planet. Perhaps he was really not cut out to be a lord. This thought suddenly appeared in his mind. A relieved smile appeared on Zhang Yud's face. At this moment, he suddenly remembered something. Big Boss Blazing Sun, no, my lord. When are we going to destroy those lords of the cerulean planet who want to harm you? Especially those bastard lords from the Sun Extermination Association. I know the location of their territory. I can show you the way, he said excitedly. Zhou Zhou. Chapter 144 Attacking Thorn Dune. Sand Corp Summoner Class Change Certificate. Zhou Zhou looked at Zhang Yud speechlessly. This guy would be a fence-sitter who would fall wherever the wind blew in the eyes of other lords. If he could treat his former ally like this today, he would do the same to his lord one day in the future. However, Zhou Zhou had the lord talent of peace and prosperity. The other party's loyalty would increase to 90 points sooner or later. Therefore, he was quite tolerant of such people. Tomorrow is the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield event. I don't have time to deal with them. Since they're planning to come after me during the event, then let's wait for them to come over themselves. I don't have to look for them one by one. Zhou shook his head. Yes, the Lord is right. This way, we can still wait for them to tire themselves out. Zhang Yud reacted and hurriedly nodded. Zhou acknowledged. Then, under his request, Zhang Yud took out the bottle of extraordinary tier potential advancement potion and the talent brought by the reputation rating that he had obtained after becoming an official lord. He was a white platinum tier elementary grade carpenter. After the other party announced in person that he had joined Blazing Sun City, he also became a subject of Blazing Sun City. Zhou was deep in thought. As the novice lord test ended, every official lord had obtained great benefits. The bottle of extraordinary tier potential advancement potion and talent attracted by reputation rating was enough to tempt other factions. In the past 2 days, many lords of Cerulean Planet on the World Channel had indeed said that many people of foreign races had come to attack their territory. The lords of Cerulean Planet had both wins and losses in this aspect. After the novice lord test, the situation of the lords of the myriad races seems to be better, but in fact, there are more dangers hidden in the dark because of the existence of the official lord's reward. Especially those weaker lords. In the eyes of other powerful lords, it's simply a treasure that they can plunder at will. Zhou frowned slightly. It seemed that other than the threat of the myriad races lord battlefield's activities, the threat from the other lords was probably not weaker than this event. He thought for a moment and his expression quickly returned to normal. Fortunately, he was not weak, otherwise, he would probably be like those weak lords who could not sleep at night because of worry. Then, he entered Thorn City and took the Black Iron Tier Advance Grade Territory token from the Lord's wooden house. Half an hour later. With the help of Bai Yi, Zhang Yud and the others, all the resources in Thorn City were sorted out. Zhou took a look and retracted his gaze. This was because he only had 50,000 to 60,000 units of basic resources, more than 100 black iron tier mist cores, and 5 to 6 normal building blueprints. He was naturally not interested in this bit of resources. According to Zhang Yud, he knew that the myriad races lord battlefield would be held tomorrow. Therefore, he did not dare to hold back at all. Other than leaving more than 100 black iron tier mist cores as backup, he used the remaining mist cores to buy these military professionals slaves to increase the combat power of his territory. Zhou did not say anything. He did not let the new subjects from this city follow them. They still had to continue conquering the other Scarlet Lords and the lords of the people of foreign races after all. Therefore, he left behind 1,000 military professionals and asked them to bring these 400 new subjects and loot back to Sand Gold City. He could also supplement the number of residents in Sand Gold City and increase its popularity. He led the remaining 9,000 soldiers and rushed towards the Scarlet Lord's territory according to the shortest route. In the next 6 hours, Zhou led Bai Yi, Wuxia, Nazario, and 9,000 military professionals to attack 5 Scarlet Lord territories in Thorn Dune. These 5 Scarlet Lord territories were all ordinary Scarlet Lords that only had Black Iron Tier territories. Under the Scarlet Lord's command, there were at least 300 monster subjects and 1,000 monster subjects at most. They could not resist at all facing Zhou's 9,000 military professionals. They did not even need Bai Yi, Wuxia, and Nazario to take them down easily. Their loot were all skill books and equipment. For such fog monsters were not worthy of being protected by the monster ranch, Zhou was not interested in them. He directly dealt with them all and extracted the loots. He obtained a total of 5 Black Iron Tier territory tokens. 28 Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. 12,562 Green Bronze Tier Mist Cores. 6,354 White Silver Tier Mist Cores. 1,550 Equipment. Green Bronze Tier, White Silver Tier, 2,250 Skill Books. Green Bronze Tier, White Silver Tier, after storing these loots in the Mechanostrider convoy, they immediately rushed to the territory of the regional lord, the Sand Corpse Lord. Behind a sand dune. Zhou Zhou looked at the territory of the Sand Corpse Lord in the distance. More than 3,000 sand corpses were wandering around the territory. They were from all kinds of races. There were humans, people of foreign races, and the monster races among the 5 Scarlet Lords that Zhou Zhou had just attacked. There was no lack of powerful races among them. Most of them were from Black Iron Tier to Green Bronze Tier. There would be a few White Silver Tier Sand Corpse subjects occasionally. They no longer looked like they were alive. Their entire bodies were wrapped in yellow sand, looking a little strange. Even though there aren't many of them, they are not weak. We can't underestimate them. Zhou Zhou looked rather serious. Then, he looked at the interface information of the weakest sand corpse and was stunned. Monster name, Sand Corpse, Strength level, Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade, Monster description, summoned by the Sand Corpse Summoner with the corpse, flesh, and mist core as the core. It gathers gravel and has the consciousness and memory of when it was alive. Even though its combat strength is weaker than when it was alive, its life-saving ability will be stronger. Loot's drop rate, 2 Black Iron Tier Mist Cores, drop rate, 100%, prompt, the loots will only drop the corresponding level of Mist Cores as it is a flesh-type summoned creature. There will be no other level of loots. Zhou Zhou was a little surprised. So flesh-type summoned creatures only dropped Mist Cores. He thought about it and felt that it made sense. If the summoned creature could also drop the same loot as normal monsters, the summoner professionals in the High Continent would probably become the most popular profession in the entire continent. Who could reject an extraordinary tier class that could produce and sell itself? Then, he looked around the monster subjects. A moment later, he finally found a Sand Corpse Summoner among the Sand Corpses. Monster name, Sand Corpse Summoner, Morton, Strength level, Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade, Monster description, the Sand Corpse Summoner under the Sand Corpse Lord can summon a large number of summoned creatures with living consciousness with the corpse's flesh and mist cores as the core. Loot's drop rate, 2 Green Bronze Tier Mist Core, drop rate, 100%, 1 Gradeless Skill Book Fresh Flesh, drop rate, 30%, 1 Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade Equipment Sand Corpse Staff, drop rate, 5%, 1 Gradeless Sand Corpse Summoner Class Change Certificate, drop rate, 0, 1%. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. This seems to be a worthy new member on his monster protection list. Chapter 145 Green Bronze Tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere. The Emperor of Sand Scepter Fragment reappears. By E. Old Wu. Attack. Remember to leave some alive for Monster Ranch. He looked at Bai Yi and Wu Xian beside him and said in a deep voice. Yes, my lord, X2. The two of them said respectfully and led the way. Attack. Following Bai Yi's order, kill. Charge. Army formation, Furry Array. Army formation, Fire Array. Wu Xian rode on his dragon horse and led more than 5,000 sword shield soldiers, Pudeo soldiers, golems, and other close combat soldier types towards the 4,000 sand corpses. Bai Yi and the other 4,000 poison crossbow soldiers, elemental archers, and other long-range soldier types supported from the back. The 4,000 sand corpses quickly discovered them. All the sand corpses roared and rushed towards Wu Xian and the others as the Sand Corpse Summoner among them gave the order to counterattack. Zhou Zhou stretched out his right hand and aimed his palm at them at the back of the battlefield just as they were about to engage in a chaotic battle. Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent, Insight Defection, activate. Boom! An invisible wave instantly enveloped all the sand corpses and Sand Corpse Summoners. Some of the Sand Corpse Summoners froze. The expressions in their eyes changed for a few seconds. Then, they decisively called back the Sand Corps they had just sent out and attacked their Sand Corps summoners' companions beside them. Every time they killed a Sand Corps summoner, some Sand Corpses collapsed weakly on the desert on the battlefield. Then, the gravel disintegrated, revealing the flesh and blood inside, as well as the mist core. The Sand Corps Lord's side was in chaos coupled with the confusions caused by the Sand Corps summoners' internal strife. This is a good opportunity. Wu Xin's eyes lit up. He immediately led the army and used the hero skill, Golden Dragon Break, to smash the Sand Corps army in front of him into pieces. Then, he slaughtered the Sand Corps summoners at the back of the battlefield. When these Sand Corps summoners who had not been incited by incite defection saw this, they never expected that the other party would break through the Sand Corps' lines so easily and come to them. They could only recall the Sand Corpses to protect themselves while resisting the attacks of their former companions. On the battlefield, the chaotic Sand Corpses could not stop the Blazing Sun army at all. The scales of victory almost immediately tipped towards the Blazing Sun army. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly when he saw this scene. Whether it was the numerical advantage, the hero advantage, or the Lord Talent advantage, his side was far superior to the other party. To Bai Yi, Wu Xin, and the others, it was extremely easy to control the direction of the crowd control battle. Then, he looked at the notification that had just appeared. Prompt: you have activated your Lord's exclusive talent, Incite Defection. Incite Defection has taken effect. Lord Talent Notification: a total of 102 Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Sand Corpses, 56 Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade Sand Corpses, 21 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Sand Corpses, 6 Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade Sand Corpses, 1 Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Sand Corps, 14 Green Bronze Tier Intermediate Elementary Grade Sand Corps Summoners, and 7 Green Bronze Tier Intermediate Sand Corps Summoners have betrayed their Lord's faction and become your subordinates. Zhou Zhou was quite satisfied after reading it. More than 4,000 Sand Corps and Sand Corps Summoners had directly incite defection 206. It was not in vain that he spent 10 Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments to upgrade it. A moment later, as the Sand Corps Lord, Naz, who was hidden among the Sand Corpses, was killed by Nazario's precise Magma Dragon Breath, the remaining Sand Corps Summoners clearly lost their backbone. When they controlled the Sand Corpses to fight, they also became a little weak. After a while, the battlefield returned to calm. Greetings, my lord. 7 Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade Sand Corps Summoners and 3 Green Bronze Tier Intermediate Grade Sand Corps Summoners brought more than 200 Sand Corpses to Zhou Zhou and greeted him respectfully. Come back to Blazing Sun City with me later. Zhou Zhou looked at them and said, yes. 10 Sand Corps Summoners said respectfully. Then, he retreated to the side. Zhou Zhou looked at them thoughtfully. As more and more monsters appeared, would it be necessary for him to form a separate army? But what should he call this army when the time comes? Incite Defection Army? Or an army of traitors? Just as he was thinking, the Sand Corps Lord, Naz corpse was also sent over. Zhou Zhou glanced at its corpse. Then, his eyes lit up. Monster name, Sand Corps Lord, Naz, Regional Level Scarlet Lord, Strength Level, White Silver Tier Advanced Grade, Monster Description, the strongest Scarlet Lord in Thorn Dune. It controls the entire territory of Thorn Dune and has a group of Sand Corps Summoners under its command. They are good at summoning and have obtained the professional inheritance of the Sand Corps King, a general under the Emperor of Sand. Loot drop rate, 20 White Silver Tier Mist Cores, drop rate, 100%, 5 Origin Crystals, drop rate, 100%, 1 Gradeless Skill Book Flesh Preservation, drop rate, 30%, 1 White Silver Tier Advanced Grade Equipment Sand Corps King's Summoning Scepter, drop rate, 10%, 10 Gradeless Sand Corps Summoner Class Change Certificate, drop rate, 0, 1%, 6 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragment, drop rate, 0%, 1 Black Iron Tier Lord Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere, drop rate, 0%, he has the Lord Talent. Zhou was pleasantly surprised. As for what the monster introduction said, the other party had obtained a portion of the Sand Corpse King's inheritance under the Emperor of Sand, so he didn't care too much. Zhou started to loot immediately. Lord Talent Notification, your loots have been enhanced by the King of Loots, Perfect Loots. Grade +1. Lord Talent Notification, you have obtained Perfect Loots, 20 Mist Cores, Yellow Gold Tier, 5 Origin Crystals, 1 Skill Book, Flesh Preservation, Gradeless, 1 Sand Corpse King Summoning Scepter, Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade, 10 Sand Corpse Summoner Class Change Certificates, Gradeless, 6 Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 1 Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere. Zhou nodded in satisfaction. These perfect loots felt good when used. A Black Iron Tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere turned into a Green Bronze Tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere. Then, he looked at the loots. It was needless to say anything about Mist Cores and Aurora Crystals. He looked at the skill book first. Skill name, Flesh Preservation, Skill Quality, Gradeless, Skill Description, it can keep the flesh of a life form fresh for a long time. It can also prevent the corpse from turning into fog and dissipating for 7 days. It doesn't seem to be of much use. Zhou touched his chin. At most, it would replace the use of the golden corpse water and make it easier to extract the spoils of war from the corpses. It could allow the soldiers to learn this skill. This way, Ashburn and the others could focus on other potions. He didn't think too much about it. Zhou looked at the next loot after learning it. Equipment name, Sand Corpse King Summoning Scepter, Equipment Grade, Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade, Equipment Effect 1, when the user uses a summoning skill, it can reduce part of the energy consumption. Note, when using skills below Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade, you can reduce energy consumption by up to 50%. The decrease will decrease as the strength of the skill increases. Equipment Effect 2, Fever of the Sand Corpse King, when the user uses the professional skill of the Sand Corpse Summoners, the strength of the summoned Sand Corpse will increase by 1. Good God, the Sand Corpse Summoner's Divine Artifact. Unfortunately, it's a Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade equipment. Moreover, I'm not a Sand Corpse Summoner, so I can't use it. Zhou clicked his tongue in wonder. Every life form could only have one profession in the professional system of the High Continent. He was already a martial artist. Therefore, he could not learn the professional skills of other professionals while he could learn other non-professional skills at will. On the other hand, lifestyle professionals could take on multiple life professions. There were no restrictions in this aspect. At this moment, a new notification appeared in front of him. Special hint, this equipment contains a portion of the fragments of the Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter. Finding other fragments can reforge the Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter, Legendary Tier Advanced Grade. Zhou raised his eyebrows. Was there actually a fragment of the Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter in this scepter? He flipped his right hand. A 3-meter-long golden scepter appeared in his hand. It was not that long ago that he obtained the Sandman Scepter from the loots of the Sandman Lord. This scepter also contained some fragments of the Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter. The two scepters seemed to sense something and suddenly vibrated when he took out the Sandman Scepter. Zhou looked at this scene in surprise. Then, he saw that the two scepters suddenly moved on their own. Then, the tops slowly moved and finally pointed to the south. This direction, it seems to be in the direction of the Sandstorm Forbidden Land and the Green Forest. Could it be telling me that the remaining fragments of the Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter are in the Sandstorm Forbidden Land or Green Forest? Zhou was deep in thought. It would be fine if it was the Green Forest. That place could at least be reached if he were to take a detour. However, if it was the Sandstorm Forbidden Land, then it would be bad. That dangerous forbidden zone of natural disasters. Zhou was not confident that he could return safely even if he brought Nazario along. However, to be honest, he was quite tempted. The Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter was a legendary tier advance grade weapon. Moreover, it might even be related to the inheritance of the Emperor of Sand. If he could obtain the inheritance of the Emperor of Sand, this opportunity would not be inferior to obtaining a legendary tier Lord talent, or even a mythical tier Lord talent. He thought for a moment. Then, he looked at the next loots. Item name, Sandcorp Summoner Class Change Certificate, Item Level, Gradeless, Item Effect, Intermediate Battle Class Change Tool. After using it, you can become an intermediate grade battle class, Sandcorp Summoner. You will also have a set of Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Battle Class equipment, 5 years of Sandcorp Summoner Class experience, and the initial strength of a Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade. Item Description, Intermediate Grade Combat Class Certificate. Created by the fallen Emperor of Sand. It is an important part of the army under the Emperor of Sand. Zhou nodded slowly. Intermediate Grade Battle Class. This was the first time he had obtained a class change certificate of this level. Not bad. It was worth protecting. As for the final Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragment and the Green Bronze Tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere, needless to say, he would use it when he got back. He wanted to see what kind of Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent it was. At this moment, Bai walked over. "My lord. I found the territory token tablet," she said respectfully. "Take me there." Zhou said. "Yes, my lord, please follow me." Bai nodded. Then, the two of them walked in the direction of the territory stone tablet. Chapter 146 Regional Token of the Thorn Dune. Persuading them to surrender. Sandcorp's Lord's Territory. In the Lord's Courtyard. Zhou covered his nose and endured the stench of corpses in the room. He asked Bai to shatter the stone tablet in front of him. After Bai heard the order, she only used 5 fire vine arrows to shatter the territory stone tablet, revealing the 2 tokens inside. One of them was a Green Bronze Tier Advance Grade Territory token. The other token was the Regional Token of Thorn Dune. Zhou put away the Territory token and looked at the Regional token. A text notification appeared. Treasure Name, Regional Token, Region Name, Thorn Dune, Changeable, Regional Grade, Black Iron Tier, Area, about 356 square kilometers, Treasure Description, a Regional Token of Thorn Dune. A lord who possesses a regional token and integrates it to become a region lord of Thorn Dune and obtain an exclusive regional treasure chest. When I return, integrate it into my territory stone tablet. I have 3 regional territories under my command. Zhou was very satisfied. Then, he left with Bai. He had just walked out. Zhou noticed that the sky had already darkened. He looked at the time on the World Channel. He realized that there were still more than 3 hours before the Scarlet Fog completely relocated. Let the soldiers quickly organize the loots here and let's quickly occupy the last territory of the people of foreign races lord. Then we'll go back to Sand Gold City. Zhou said. Looking at it now. It would probably take quite some time to return to Blazing Sun City. He could only return to Sand Gold City to rest. However, he had to return to Blazing Sun City early tomorrow morning to prepare for the Myriad Races Lord battlefield. Yes, my lord. Bai said respectfully. Then, she immediately went to make arrangements. Soon. With the 10 Conquerors blast furnaces going all out to retrieve the loots, all the loots of the Sandcorp summoners had been extracted in less than half an hour. Under the effect of the perfect loots, he obtained a total of 14,852 green bronze tier mist cores. 12,620 white silver tier mist cores. 714 yellow gold tier mist cores. 357 gradeless flesh preservation skill books. 357 Sandcorp staff. Green bronze tier, white silver tier, yellow gold tier, 357 gradeless, Sand Corp Summoner Class Change Certificate. Other than that, Bai also found a total of 420,000 units of 4 basic resources, 1,241 black iron tier mist cores, 251 white silver tier mist cores, and 12 normal blueprints in the territory. Zhou Zhou was quite satisfied with these gains. Regional lords were indeed regional lords. Each one of them was equivalent to 5 normal Scarlet Lords. Then, he did not stop. He brought the soldiers to the last territory of the people of foreign races in Thorn Dune. Wuxia had specially activated the Furry Array to increase his speed. Everyone's speed increased greatly, and they arrived at their destination in less than 15 minutes. This was the territory of the Ox Demon clan. It was called Zealer City. According to Wu Tu's map, there were about 1,000 members of the Ox Demon clan living here. The leader of the Ox Demons, Tu, had the strength of a yellow gold tier intermediate grade. They were not lords summoned from other worlds, but local lords of the High Continent. It was said that their ancestors had made a deal with the demons in the abyss. It allowed them to obtain some demonic power. This made their combat strength quite good even among the orcs. These more than 1,000 Ox Demon clan members. Its combat power was comparable to more than 4,000 human military professionals of the same level. This level of combat strength. If they chose to attack forcefully, they would definitely suffer heavy losses. Hence, Zhou Zhou had already thought about it on the way here. He did not intend to storm this place. Instead, he wanted to see if he could replicate Thorn City's actions and make the other party surrender. After he had 9,000 soldiers surround this place. Zhou Zhou stood at the front of all the soldiers and looked up at the city wall of Zealer City. His eyesight was extremely good. Therefore, he could see it clearly. On the city wall. An ox demon with soft golden fur, 2 horns on its head, and blood-red eyes was standing there looking at him. It was the boss of Zealer City, Tuesday. Who are you? What are you doing here? At this moment, the Ox Demon boss looked at Zhou Zhou and said loudly. The other party spoke the common language of the High Continent. Hence, Zhou Zhou could understand. Don't you see? I brought my army here to suppress you. Tu, come out and surrender. You saw it too. My men are out there. You can't escape. Zhou Zhou said. His voice was also transmitted to the ears of all the Ox Demons in the other party's territory through the enhancement of his spiritual power. Human Lord, I admit you have many soldiers. But our Zealer City is not weak either. And we're protected by our walls while you are facing the threat of the imminent Scarlet Fog. Are you sure you want to attack us? Besides, we have no grudges against each other. Why must you start a war against us? Tu said angrily. I just took down Thorn Dune not too long ago. Which means? You're the ones occupying my territory for survival. I came to attack and expel you for the sake of protecting my territory. That makes sense, doesn't it? Zhou Zhou said calmly. Tu was stunned. He has taken down Thorn Dune. Hesitation appeared on its face. In that case. They really seem to be occupying the other party's territory for survival. After a long silence. It said, we've been living here for decades. This has become our homeland. Whatever you say. Well, never leave here. If you want to fight, let's fight. Tu was about to order the Ox Demons to prepare to defend against the other party's next attack. But at this moment, Zhou Zhou started talking. Tu, I know you have feelings for Zealer City and are unwilling to leave this place. But you can't beat us. Nazario flew down from the sky after he finished speaking. When the huge Nazario descended from the sky, Tu and the rest were stunned. Fear appeared in the eyes of some of the Ox Demons. Zhou Zhou could clearly feel the other party's fighting spirit instantly disintegrated when Nazario released his dragon might. Ah-Tu also saw fear in its subject. It wanted to say something encouraging but it found itself at a loss for words. Therefore, a deep sense of helplessness rose in its heart in front of this incomparably pure-blooded dragon even if it was the strongest amongst them. It did not even have the confidence to deal with this pure-blooded dragon. What about the other subjects? At this moment, the human lord's voice came from outside. Ah-Tu, I can give you a choice. As long as you are willing to give up your status as a lord and bring your ox demon subjects to join my blazing sun city, becoming my subjects, I can stop waging war on your territory. Let you continue to live here in peace. But I have to remind you. Once you become my subjects, you will have to call yourselves my subjects in the future. You'll have no right to refuse when I need you to work for me or fight for me. Of course. I won't let you work for nothing or be a suicide squad on the battlefield. You and my other subjects will have the salary and military merits that you deserve. Are you willing to accept this condition? Zhou Zhou asked. Chapter 147 Surrender. The ancestral statue of the human race on Cerulean planet. A few seconds later. So you're the famous lord recently. No wonder, Ah-Tu, have heard a lot about you. Ah-Tu's voice sounded. There seemed to be a sense of relief in its voice. My lord, please wait a moment. Ah-Tu said. Okay. Zhou Zhou noticed the change in the way the other party addressed him and immediately nodded slightly. It seemed that Nazario and the nearly 9,000 military professionals were indeed very intimidating. In the future, he could use this to avoid many unnecessary wars. He could just get into position and scare the other party. In any case, they could win by using force. Why did they have to fight head-on? A moment later. The gates of Zealer City opened. Ah-Tu walked out with more than 1,000 tall ox demons and stopped 30 to 40 meters away from Zhou Zhou. Ah-Tu stared at Zhou Zhou and slowly knelt on one knee. I, the city lord of Zealer City, ox demon boss, Ah-Tu, am willing to give up my status as a lord and bring the 1,256 ox demon subjects of Zealer City to join you and become your subject. Ah-Tu said in a deep voice. Ox Demon Boss, Ah-Tu leads 1,256 ox demons and requests to join your territory and become your subject. Do you agree? Agreed. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. The next second. Prompt, 1,257 ox demons have become your subject. Lord Talent hint, peace and prosperity is taking effect. The loyalty of the subjects is increasing. Lord Talent notification, loyalty of 1,257 ox demons has increased to 71 points. Zhou Zhou smiled. Why did he let the other party off with such a simple condition? Firstly, it was because the scarlet fog was about to descend. He did not intend to waste time here and wanted to conquer this place as quickly as possible. Secondly, it was because he had the diamond tier Lord Talent, peace and prosperity. As long as the other party dared to join his territory and become his subject. Then, regardless of whether the other party had any ulterior motives before joining, they would not be able to harbor such thoughts as long as they became his subject. There was no way they could escape. From now on, we're family. Zhou Zhou walked over with a smile and extended his right hand to Ah-Tu's. Ah-Tu was stunned for a moment before hurriedly reaching out to shake hands with its lord. Please take care of me in the future, my lord. Ah-Tu said respectfully. Sure. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. Then, he looked at the items he could steal. Then he suddenly froze. Currently stealable items, 1 yellow gold tier intermediate grade skill book, great strength, stealing success rate, 95%, 1 yellow gold tier intermediate grade global racial growth skill book, bloodthirsty battle, stealing success rate, 93%, 1 yellow gold tier intermediate grade growable racial growth skill book, Ox Demon Transformation, stealing success rate, 94%, 1 white silver ancestor statue of the human race on Cerulean planet, stealing success rate, 91%, 2 black iron tier Lord talent crystal fragments, stealing success rate, 90%, there's actually such a thing. Zhou Zhou's gaze was focused on the words, ancestor statue of the human race on Cerulean planet. He suddenly reacted. Zhao Changshou should have built the imperial ancestral temple by now. That was why the ancestor statue of the humans on Cerulean planet appeared among the items that A2 could steal. He looked at the other party's list of loot. That was indeed the case. The other party's list of loots also included the loots of the ancestor statue of the human race on Cerulean planet. Without any hesitation, he silently chanted the word, steal. The next second, a 3-meter-tall Cerulean planet ancestor statue and 2 black iron tier Lord Talent crystal fragments appeared out of thin air in his spatial ring. Zhou Zhou looked at the information on the ancestor statue of the human race on Cerulean planet. Treasure name, ancestor statue of the human race of Cerulean planet, Sun Simiao, treasure grade, white silver tier, treasure effect, place it in the shrine of the Imperial Ancestral Temple and activate the ancestor statue's beneficial effect on territory, subjects, or lords. Treasure introduction, an ancient Chinese pharmaceutical scientist and Taoist priest. He was revered as the king of medicine by later generations. He wrote, essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold for emergencies, and, supplement to the essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold. He also completed the world's first national medicine book, Tang Dynasty New Medical Herbs. Prompt, collect 2 ancestral statues of the same level and the same person and you can fuse them into a higher level ancestral statue. The fused ancestral statue will produce a better buff effect on the territory, subjects, and lords. Is it actually this ancestor? Zhou Zhou was shocked. Naturally, he had heard of this king of medicine. This big shot was in the history textbooks he read when he was young. I wonder what the buff effect of this ancestor is. I'll give it a try at the Imperial Ancestral Temple when I get back. He thought. My lord. Is there anything you need us to do? A2 asked nervously. After hearing what his lord had just said, he was already prepared to do his best. Zhou Zhou thought for a moment before looking at the other party. There's a miniature iron mine near my territory. You can get your subjects to mine the iron ore there. He said. Do you have food and accommodation? A2 asked shamelessly. Zhou Zhou was speechless. Don't worry. Not just food and accommodation. Those who are willing to go will even be given mist core as a salary. Zhou Zhou said. These ox demons were huge and strong, they were the best choice to mine iron ore. There was no need to fight with them. He did not lack soldiers now. The ox demon's boss was overjoyed. It was very strong physically but its governance on its territory was not strong. In addition, the place they were staying in was a resource-poor place like Thorn Dune. Therefore, it and its ox demon subject were very poor. Usually, it was the one who brought the subjects to Fish Spring Town to do odd jobs and some hard work to barely survive. Someone had once valued their strength and wanted to hire them as their fighters. However, its subjects rejected it without hesitation. The reason why they ran to such a desolate place to build a city and settle down was to stay away from the war, avoid it, and live a stable life without worrying about losing their lives. How could they agree to such an employment? As a result, they had a hard time even though they were very strong. A2 suddenly felt that it was not bad to be a subject under the Lord. At least there was a fixed work scope they could do. Oh yes. Your subjects can work in mini iron mines. But don't go there if you're so strong. From now on, you'll fight alongside me. Zhou Zhou said. He was not interested in the normal ox demons. However, he would not let go of such a yellow gold tier intermediate grade fighter. Yes. My lord. Ah Tu's face stiffened, then it forced a smile and agreed. Zhou Zhou ignored its expression. After that, he gave Ah Tu a map of the surrounding area and told him the location of Blazing Sun City. Then, he did not stay any longer and led the army back to Sand Gold City, seeing that it was getting late. Chapter 148 New Lord Talent. War God's Blessing. After Zhou Zhou brought his men back to Sand Gold City, the sky was already completely dark. Scarlet fog gradually covered the entire world. After Zhou Zhou returned, he asked Bai Yi and the others to bring the army to Sand Gold City to rest for the night. They would immediately rush back to Blazing Sun City before 4 o'clock the next morning. Bai Yi and the others immediately accepted the order. Zhou Zhou did not waste any time. He used Return to the City and returned to Blazing Sun City. In the Blazing Sun City, in the living room of the Lord's residence, Zhou Zhou appeared out of thin air. He felt his body, spirit, and energy rapidly recovering and couldn't help but nod slightly. Originally, he was already a little tired after running around all day. Now, he felt like he had returned to his peak. Then, Zhou Zhou came to the territory stone tablet and took out the regional token of Thorn Dune, placing it directly above the stone tablet. A suction force came from the territory stone tablet and sucked this regional token into the stone tablet. The next second, rows of golden text appeared in front of him. Congratulations on obtaining a Black Iron Tier regional token, Thorn Dune. You have officially become the regional lord of this region. Thorn Dune, Black Iron Tier, has been added to your regional territory. You have obtained a regional treasure chest. Exclusive to Thorn Dune, Zhou Zhou opened his regional territory column. Regional territory, Blazing Sun Desert, Black Iron Tier, Sand Gold Land, Black Iron Tier, Thorn Dune, Black Iron Tier. He nodded, satisfied. Then, Zhou Zhou opened the regional treasure chest. Inside was a familiar yellow package. Item name, Thorn Dune Exclusive Resource Pack, Item Level, Black Iron Tier. Item effect, after opening it, you can obtain 50,000 units of stone, 50,000 units of wood, 50,000 units of metal, 50,000 units of fine sand, 100 gradeless Sand Corp Summoner Class Change Certificate. Item description, Black Iron Tier Area Exclusive Resource Pack. After opening it, you can obtain a large number of basic resources and some area exclusive resources. That's it? Zhou Zhou was a little disappointed. Wasn't this the same thing as the regional treasure chest in the Blazing Sun Desert? The sand crystal had just become the Sand Corps Summoner Class Change Certificate. He shook his head. It seemed that something as good as the Golem Lair was just a special situation. After using it, he took out the green bronze tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere. Let's see what this green bronze tier Lord Talent is. Zhou Zhou was really looking forward to it. He looked over. A text notification appeared. Do you want to purify it? Yes. Zhou Zhou said. The next second, a golden light flashed on the Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere. Then its message changed. Treasure name, Lord Talent Sphere, Blessing of the 10 Gods, Blessing of the War God, Treasure grade, Green Bronze Tier. Treasure effect, after absorbing it, the Lord will have the green bronze tier Lord Talent, Blessing of the 10 Gods, Blessing of the War God. Treasure description, a Lord Talent Sphere purified by the Supreme Resistance. After absorbing it, you can obtain a green bronze tier Lord Talent. Blessing of the 10 Gods. I think I've heard of this talent from other lords. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. However, the blessing of the 10 gods he had heard of was not the blessing of the war god, but the blessing of wisdom, creation, and life. Furthermore, different lords had different levels of blessings. He was at the green bronze tier. The highest level he had heard of was the blessing of the Diamond Tier creation god. It was said that it could greatly increase the breakthrough speed of lifestyle professionals and had a certain chance of developing new life profession items. The other party seemed to have joined the military-industrial alliance and was a big shot there. Zhou was deep in thought. Since it was the blessing of the 10 gods, there were probably 6 of such gods left. However, he did not know who those 6 were. Then, Zhou stopped thinking and chose to absorb it. The next second, this green bronze tier Lord Talent sphere immediately turned into countless bronze-colored light spots and surged into his glabella. Zhou closed his eyes. A moment later, he reopened his eyes again after some time. Then, he immediately opened his Lord's personal information. His Lord Talent column had been updated again. Lord Talent, 100% drop rate, mythical tier, unique, Gnome Alchemy Workshop, Monster Ranch, White Silver tier, Insight Defection, Peace and Prosperity, Diamond tier, Return to the City, Black Iron tier, Mysterious Caravan, Yellow Gold tier, Master Thief's Robbery Gloves, Legendary tier, Blessing of the 10 Gods, Blessing of the War God, my 9th Lord Talent. Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Then, he immediately opened the details of the talent. Lord Talent, Blessing of the 10 Gods, Blessing of the War God, Blessing of the 10 Gods, Blessing of the War God, one of the 10 chief gods under the supreme will, has blessed you and your military professionals. You and your military professionals will receive an additional 200% promotion energy after killing the enemy. Zhou's eyes widened. This was a green bronze tier Lord Talent. Obtaining an additional 200% promotion energy, didn't that mean that the benefits of the promotion energy in a battle would directly triple? This could be said to have directly increased the strength of him and his soldier types by 300%. To the lords of the high continents, any external means were naturally not as important as strength. In Zhou's eyes, the blessings of the war god were much more practical than the blessings of other gods. Good Lord Talent. In the future, I need to upgrade the Lord Talent Crystal Fragment to Insight Defection. I'll just upgrade it. Zhou immediately made a decision. Compared to Insight Defection, he still preferred the blessings of the War God that could increase his strength. He looked at the Lord Talent Crystal Fragment he had. After obtaining Tu's Lord Talent Crystal Fragment not long ago, he now had a total of 74 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. 53 Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. 3 Yellow Gold Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. 2 Legendary Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. I still need 47 Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments or 5 White Silver Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. Zhou was deep in thought. This request was not difficult to achieve. Now, he was attacking the Scarlet Lord's territory faster and faster. At his speed. In just a few days, he would probably be able to gather them after attacking a few more ownerless Black Iron Tier regional territories. At this thought, he stopped thinking about it. Then, he walked out of the Lord's residence to find Zhao Changshu and ask him where the Imperial Ancestral Temple was. However, just as he walked out of the door, a woman's voice came from behind him. Are you the Lord of the Blazing Sun? Zhou was stunned. He turned to look. He saw a tall woman in a holy white gorgeous dress. She had a pretty face and a resplendent white crystal at her glabella and was standing not far away and looking at him. Beside her was a maid in white. She bowed slightly to him and looked up at him curiously. And you are? Zhou was a little surprised. I am the princess of the Aurora Kingdom. My name is Leia. I'm here to pay my respects to the Lord of the Blazing Sun. I came with my father's greetings. She said politely. Welcome, welcome. I'm sorry. I've been busy the entire day today and have just returned. Zhou said. As a lord chosen by the supreme will, it's natural for you to be busy every day. Please don't feel embarrassed about this. Li looked at Zhou Zhou in agreement. Zhou Zhou was stunned for a moment before he laughed. It's cold outside. Let's enter the residence first if you don't mind, he said. Li nodded. Zhou Zhou brought the two of them back to his lord's residence again, and sat down in the hall. After chatting for a while, Li took out a contract. Father heard that the Lord of the Blazing Sun is very interested in our kingdom's Aurora crystal. That's why my father specifically asked me to bring this Aurora crystal transaction contract and give it to the Lord. With this contract, my Lord can purchase Aurora crystals of yellow gold tier and lower from any yellow gold tier or above regional territories in the Aurora Kingdom. After she finished speaking, in order to avoid Zhou Zhou's misunderstanding, she explained apologetically, it's not that my father is stingy and doesn't want to sell Aurora Kingdom crystals of yellow gold tier and above. Your lordship also knows that in our high continent, the probability of extracting items after a life form dies is extremely small. Normally speaking, only the mist cores can be extracted. Most of the other items won't be extracted. It's the same for the Aurora crystals. In addition, our Aurora Kingdom can only build a white platinum tier advanced grade Aurora Kingdom tower at most. Therefore, even for our Aurora Kingdom, white platinum tier Aurora crystals are already considered extremely top-notch and rare resources. We still have to use these to deal with the Taiyan Kingdom, so it's not convenient for us to sell white platinum tier Aurora crystals to the Lord. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. He remembered that the drop rate of Aurora crystals was 10%. Which meant only 1 in every 10 Aurora race of white platinum tier would drop a white platinum tier Aurora Kingdom crystal after they pass on. The Aurora Kingdom had to rely on these white platinum tier Aurora crystals to build the Aurora Kingdom tower to defend the entire Aurora Kingdom. The consumption of Aurora crystals was unimaginable. Therefore, he did not feel that there was anything wrong with them cherishing the white platinum tier Aurora crystal so much. Your Highness, you don't have to do this. The drop rate of Aurora crystals is indeed low. If the Aurora Kingdom needs Aurora crystals in the future, you can look for me. Perhaps I can help. Zhou Zhou said. However, was the white platinum tier Aurora Kingdom's drop rate low in front of his King of Loots? He could directly extract diamond tier Aurora Kingdom crystals for the other party, let alone white platinum tier Aurora Kingdom crystals. When Li heard Zhou Zhou's words, she looked at him blankly. You can help. But aren't you the one who needs the authority to trade Aurora crystals? Zhou Zhou faced the doubt in her eyes with a mysterious smile. Actually, under normal circumstances, he would not say that he would take the initiative to help. However, this princess came with good intentions. Her attitude and etiquette made Zhou Zhou feel very comfortable. Give me a peach and I give you a white jade for friendship. Zhou Zhou would naturally repay her kindness. Even though Li did not know what Zhou Zhou meant by help, she could hear the good intentions in his words. This made her smile. In addition to the transaction of the Aurora crystals, my father also promised my lord that he could make a request. Hell granted as long as it's within his power. Li said. This is His Majesty's kindness. I need time to think. Zhou Zhou thought for a while and did not expect to make any requests. Okay. I'll stay in my lord's territory for 3 days. You can tell me when you have thought it through. Li said. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. Then, the two of them chatted happily for a while before Li left with the maid on the pretext that it was inconvenient to disturb them in the middle of the night. Zhou Zhou sent her out of the residence and went to look for Zhao Changshu himself. Chapter 149 Ancestral Enhancement Effect. Essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold for emergencies. When Zhou Zhou found Zhao Changshu, he was chatting with a young man. Greetings, my lord. When the two of them saw Zhou Zhou, Zhao Changshu immediately stood up and bowed. When the young man beside him saw this, he reacted and hurriedly stood up to bow to Zhou Zhou. Then, he looked at Zhou Zhou excitedly. "And this is?" Zhou Zhou nodded and looked at the young man. "His name is Lu Yu. He's my disciple. He just joined our Blazing Sun City today. At that time, the Lord was not around. I talked with Elder Zheng and recruited him. This disciple of mine is quite capable and quite talented. He might become a pillar of our territory in the future." Zhao Changshou smiled. "So you're Elder Zhao's disciple. Welcome to Blazing Sun City." Zhou Zhou smiled. "Hello, my lord. I've long heard about you and your territory. I've finally seen you today," Lu Yu said excitedly. He had been chatting with his teacher just now. Zhao Changshou told him that not only did he break through the original upper limit of his potential, but he had also become a diamond-tier elementary-grade architect. An architect of this level could be said to be unique in the entire Aurora Kingdom. As his disciple, he naturally knew what his teacher wanted. He also knew how difficult it was to do this. His teacher had been pursuing this for decades after all. He did not expect the Lord in front of him to do it in just a few days. And according to his teacher, their Lord had done far more than this. Zhao Changshou stopped talking. However, this did not stop Lu Yu from revering this Zhou Zhou whom he had never met before. In addition, Zhou Zhou was not bad-looking and had all kinds of fame. That was why he was so excited when he saw Zhou Zhou. "My own little fanboy." Zhou Zhou was surprised to see his expression. When he saw the other party's attributes, a smile immediately appeared on his face. This young man, Lu Yu, was already a white platinum-tier elementary-grade architect. Moreover, his potential was the same as Zhao Changshu's. He had the potential of a white platinum-tier advanced grade. Moreover, the other party was just a young man. It could only be said that Elder Zhao had good taste. And he also reacted. The other party should be a legendary talent attracted by the reputation rating after his territory leveled up. The three of them chatted for a while before Zhou Zhou brought up the main topic of his visit. "Elder Zhao. The Imperial Ancestral Temple should be completed, right? Bring me to the Imperial Ancestral Temple," Zhou Zhou said. "I was just about to talk to my lord about this. My lord, please follow me." Zhao Changshou stood up and led the way. Zhou Zhou followed him. Lu Yu did not receive any hints from the two of them, so he did not follow them rashly. A moment later, the two of them arrived at the Imperial Ancestral Temple. Zhou Zhou looked at the building. A building notification soon appeared. It was basically the same as the architectural effect described in the architectural blueprint of the Imperial Ancestral Temple. The building level had changed from special to special. White silver tier elementary grade. Moreover, there were two new columns, current ancestor statue worship, and current ancestor enhancement effect. However, the words none were displayed on it. Zhao Changshou was already introducing them. This Imperial Ancestral Temple covers an area of about 1,390 square kilometers. It's 47 meters long from north to south and 29 meters long from east to west. It has 3 layers of walls. According to the blueprint requirements, they are all yellow glazed tiles with red walls. The building inside the wall is north to south. The innermost building is the main hall of the Imperial Ancestral Temple. There are shrines inside that can pray to our ancestors. However, because there is no ancestor statue, there are no ancestors in the shrine for the time being. In addition, the construction level of the Imperial Ancestral Temple is the same as the territory. As the level of the territory increases, the level of the Imperial Ancestral Temple will also increase. The number of ancestral statues that can be worshipped inside will also increase. Currently, our territory is at the white silver tier elementary grade, so we can only worship 3 shrines. When Blazing Sun City advances to a yellow gold tier territory, the number of shrines that can be worshipped in the main hall will increase again. Zhao Changshou explained in detail. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. Then, the two of them walked into the Imperial Ancestral Temple and passed through 3 layers of walls before arriving at the main hall of the Imperial Ancestral Temple. As soon as he entered the main hall, Zhou Zhou saw 3 red shrines that were 5 to 6 meters tall neatly placed on the altar. Below the shrine, there were also incense burners, red ropes, copper coins, agarwood, and other sacrificial items. A faint smell of agarwood permeated the entire Imperial Ancestral Temple, making one's heart calm down. Zhou Zhou waved his right hand. The statue of Sun Simiao's ancestor appeared before him. Then, he did not call for help. He personally picked up the ancestor statue and placed it respectfully and carefully in the first shrine on the left. Just as he placed Sun Simiao's ancestral statue on it, Zhou Zhou immediately felt the entire Imperial Ancestral Temple tremble slightly. However, the tremor was extremely small. Only he, who had the Chaos human bloodline, could sense it. Zhao Changwen did not sense it at all. At the same time, an ancient and serious voice sounded in his mind. A doctor should not rely on his own strengths to focus on managing his wealth, rather he should have a heart of salvation. Is this the voice of Sun Simiao's ancestor? Zhou Zhou was stunned. At this moment, a new text notification appeared. You have placed a white silver tier ancestor statue of the human race on Cerulean planet in the shrine of the Imperial Ancestral Temple. Sun Simiao has activated the exclusive ancestral buff effect, essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold for emergencies. The current ancestor statue has been updated. Current ancestral enhancement effect has been updated. The next second, a withered and pale ancient book appeared in front of him. Zhou Zhou took it. A text notification appeared. Treasure name, essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold for emergencies, treasure grade, white silver tier, treasure effect 1, after healing the injured, there is a chance that all doctor-related professionals in the territory will comprehend more medical theories, increasing the probability of breaking through by 5%. Treasure effect 2, when physician-related professionals with the essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold for emergencies encounter difficult illnesses, there is a chance that they will receive hints from the human ancestor of Cerulean planet, Sun Simiao. Treasure description: human lives are the most important. They are more precious than gold. They are more virtuous than this. Prompt: this treasure is exclusive to the Imperial Ancestral Temple. It cannot be worn down, lost, or destroyed. This ancestor's enhancement effect is so powerful. Zhou Zhou exclaimed in surprise when he saw the effect of the treasure. The first effect could increase the chances of doctor-related professionals in the territory breaking through. Not to mention the second. Sun Simiao's ancestor had personally guided him. This was only the white silver tier, essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold for emergencies, effect. What about the higher level essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold for emergencies effect? I wonder if there's any way to obtain a statue of the same ancestor. Zhou Zhou could not help but think. Then, he had no clue and stopped thinking about it. Then, he looked at the essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold for emergencies in his hand and thought for a moment. Then, he sent someone to call Bai Yuejing over. What can I do for you, my lord? After Bai Yuejing arrived, she immediately said respectfully. Zhou Zhou said nothing. Instead, he first took a look at his loyalty. He realized that his loyalty had increased from 85 points to 89 points. He had improved to such an extent in just a day. This meant that the other party approved of him and Blazing Sun City. Zhou Zhou was relieved. He handed the essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold for emergencies to the other party and told him the effect of this treasure. It's too valuable. How can I use it? Bai Yuejing said in shock. This treasure could affect the future of the entire territory's doctor. His lordship actually gave him such a precious item. Elder Bai, take it. You are the only extraordinary tier doctor in the territory. Everyone else's medical skills are far below yours. If you're not qualified to use it, who else in our territory is qualified to use it? In the future, Elder Bai will have many important patients to treat. When the time comes, he'll need Elder Bai and the essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold for emergencies. Elder Bai, don't decline. Zhou Zhou said. When Bai Yuejing heard this, she stopped hesitating and solemnly promised Zhou Zhou that she would keep it safe and display its value. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. The two of them chatted for a while before Bai Yuejing bowed solemnly in front of Sun Simiao's statue and left. After everyone left, Zhou Zhou came to Sun Simiao's statue. He picked up 3 sticks of incense and lit them up. Then, he bowed 3 times to Sun Simiao's statue and solemnly placed them on the incense burner. I hope that Lord Ancestor can protect our blazing Sun City and continue smoothly in this Lord of all races competition. He prayed. Then, he turned around and left the Imperial Ancestral Temple. In the Lord's residence. Zhou Zhou, who had just returned, heard Wu Tu's voice outside the door. Zhou Zhou let him in. Chapter 150 Wu Tu's Map. Starfire Mercenary Team. My lord. This is the map I drew today. In addition, I've also investigated the general situation of the surrounding area. Wu Tu handed over a map respectfully. Zhou Zhou took it and read it. This map was almost the same as yesterday's. However, there were some new areas. For example, the unknown area in the north was now discovered to be a white-silver tier area, Mingguang Town, and to the north of Mingguang Town was a yellow-gold tier area, Blazing Sun City. They were all official territories under the jurisdiction of the Aurora Kingdom. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows when he saw this. Then he could make a trip to Blazing Sun City. This way, he could buy some yellow gold tier Aurora crystals with the Aurora crystal trading contract he had just obtained. This way, he could upgrade all the bronze Aurora Kingdom towers in his territory to yellow gold tier Aurora Kingdom towers. When the time comes. Even if a diamond tier expert dared to invade his Blazing Sun City, he could even guarantee that the other party would never return. Then, he looked elsewhere. The north of Blazing Sun City and the west of Fish Spring Town were both regional territories under the Aurora Kingdom. In the east of Thorn Dune, there were 2 green-bronze tier regional territories and 1 white-silver tier regional territories. On both sides of the Sandstorm Forbidden Land and the south of the Green Forest, there was a black iron tier territory, 2 green-bronze tier territory, and a white-silver tier territory. Further away was the location of a yellow-gold tier regional territory in the Taiyan Kingdom, Dark Knight Town. Starting here all the way south was already the territory of the Crimson Kingdom, Taiyan Kingdom. The Aurora Kingdom can be regarded as a friendly party at the moment. Moreover, they're not weak. We definitely can't attack them. For the Taiyan Kingdom to be able to fight against the Aurora Kingdom for hundreds of years, their strength is definitely not inferior to the Aurora Kingdom. It's not within my consideration. Then we can only attack the 7 regional territories east of Thorn Dune and south of the Sandstorm Forbidden Land. Zhou Zhou pondered. However, this Sandstorm Forbidden Land is a little troublesome. If the problem of the Sandstorm Forbidden Land's army's passage cannot be resolved, then I can only expand my territory east of Thorn Dune. Zhou Zhou frowned slightly. To a lord like him it was not a good thing to have one's offensive direction restricted. He thought for a while. He suddenly thought of Lu Rui and the rest. As adventurers, they might be able to learn more about the Sandstorm Forbidden Land from other local adventurers. There might be another way to pass. Without hesitation, Zhou Zhou sent someone to call Zhang Lanqing over. Previously, after Lu Rui and the others followed their army back to Blazing Sun City, they only stayed for a day before returning to prepare to establish an adventure team. But Zhang Lanxing was left behind. It was convenient for Zhou Zhou and Lu Rui to contact each other. Now it looked like it was going to come in handy. Soon, Zhang Lanxing came over. "Greetings, my lord," Zhang Lanxing said respectfully. At this moment, his attitude had changed greatly from when he first arrived. Zhou Zhou could clearly tell that the other party's respect for him had completely turned into sincerity. Zhang Lanxing knew the reason very well. After staying in the territory for a few days, he understood more about Blazing Sun City and the Lord of the Blazing Sun. In particular, the other party's territory was clearly only a desert territory, but it could develop to such a scale and achievement. It even became the strongest human lord on the cerulean planet. Apart from being shocked, Zhang Lanxing only felt admiration from the bottom of his heart. Honestly, if it were him, he would have been assigned to a desert territory at the beginning. He would probably give up his status as a lord on the same day and change his occupation to become an adventurer. Who would have thought that a territory with barren resources, surrounded by monsters and sand, could develop to this extent? Zhou Zhou naturally did not know what he was thinking. She told him directly why she had come to look for him. "Sandstorm Forbidden Land, I've heard of this place. Because that place is a forbidden area for natural disasters, there seem to be many strange legends. But most of them are made up by other adventurers, rangers, and martial artists. I wonder if it's true." Zhang Lanxing pondered. "This is very important to me. Get Lu Rui and the others to temporarily put aside all their work and focus on investigating the Sandstorm Forbidden Land." Zhou Zhou ordered without hesitation. "Yes, my lord," Zhang Lanxing said solemnly. This was the first time the feudal lord had assigned them quests. He had to do it well. He reminded himself. "How have you guys been lately?" Zhou Zhou asked. With the 5,000 Black Iron Tier Mist Corps sponsored by the Overlord, Captain Lu has already established the adventurer team. The name of the adventurer team is Starfire Mercenary Team. The name is a metaphor that we are the official adventurer team of Blazing Sun City. However, only a few of us founders know about this. We haven't announced it to the public. Because there are some things that official adventurer teams will encounter obstacles if they want to do it. Private adventurer teams will easily come into contact with such things. Other than that, we've also recruited a portion of Black Iron Tier and Bronze Rank members. The Starfire Mercenary Team now has 50 members. Zhang Lanxing said respectfully. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. They were especially satisfied with the name of the Starfire Mercenary Team. He thought for a moment. He took out 500 green bronze tier mist cores, 100 soldier type class change certificates, and 50 sand corp summoner class change certificates from his spatial ring and handed them to the other party. "Your adventurer team has just been established. You should have spent most of the 5,000 Black Iron Tier Mist cores. Take these and use them as resources to continue developing your adventurer team. If you can do the job I gave you today, I'll give you more rewards," Zhou Zhou said. After all, it was the first official adventurer team in Blazing Sun City. If he didn't reward the other party, Zhou Zhou himself felt that it wasn't good enough. If not for the fact that they were too weak and could not accept more rewards, Zhou Zhou even wanted to sponsor them with the yellow gold tier mist core. "Thank you, my lord," Zhang Lanxing said in surprise. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. Then, the two of them chatted for a while more before Zhang Lanxing left with these things. When Zhou Zhou saw this, he called the yellow gold tier intermediate level warrior, Luo Feng, over. "Senior Luo. There's something I'd like you to do," Zhou Zhou said. Then, he told him about the Starfire Mercenary Team. The Starfire Mercenary Team has just been established. There are some things and rules that they might not understand. That's why I want to ask Senior to secretly escort them for a period of time. If they accidentally fall into a desperate situation, when the time comes, please help me if you can. Of course, if the environment isn't too dangerous, then let them see blood. There's no harm in training. Zhou said politely. That's easy. When I was young, I joined many adventure teams. After I became a wanted criminal, I've also seen the dark side of this world close to the mark, not far off. Leave this matter to me. Don't worry, my lord. Luo Feng said confidently and even a little arrogantly. Zhou acknowledged. After that, Zhou did not talk much. Seeing this, Luo Feng bade farewell and left. Zhou thought about it. What else did he not do? Soon, he thought of something that he had almost forgotten. Try me. He opened his friend list and wrote the title of Military Industry Lord in the friend request column. Originally, he thought that it would be very difficult to add the other party. After all, the other party was now a top-notch lord second only to Dragon Lady Lord and the others. In particular, the other party's military and industrial alliance had been very popular on the World Channel recently. It was normal for the other party not to be added as a friend. Unexpectedly, he received a notification that he had successfully added a friend as soon as he clicked confirm. He froze. Then, the other party immediately sent a message. Military Industry Lord, are you really the Lord of the Blazing Sun? Zhou. Chapter 151 4 Types of Firearms. Huge profit. Zhou looked at this sentence speechlessly. Then, he immediately typed a reply. Lord of the Blazing Sun, can I be fake? Military Industry Lord, yesterday, a lord accidentally received a hidden mission. After completing it, he obtained the method to create a change name card. This morning, I've already seen many names like Lord of the Blazing Sun, Lord of the Blazing Gun, Lord of the Scorching Sun, 3. Lord of the Blazing Sun, Glory of the Pioneer 2, the strongest novice lord. What about now? Military Industry Lord, Degree A Degree, Military Industry Lord, hello, Big Boss Blazing Sun. Greater than over equal to less than over equal to, Lord of the Blazing Sun, you like emojis so much. Are you a girl? Military Industry Lord, ahem, big shot, I'm a man. I just like emojis, just like how a fierce man likes little kittens. Oh Omega O, Zhou was silent for 2 seconds. Indeed. Who could reject little kittens? Lord of the Blazing Sun, I want to buy some firearms from your military industry alliance. Is that convenient? What he wanted to do was to buy some muskets in the modern armed territory. Let these ancient soldier types who controlled muskets immediately transform into modern soldier types to increase their combat strength. The other party quickly replied. Military Industry Lord, other people might not be able to do it, but Big Boss Blazing Sun naturally can. Big Boss, we have created a total of 4 types of firearms. They are respectively Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade Firearms, Mauser C96 Pistol. Green Bronze Tier Intermediate Grade Firearms, GEW 98 Bolt Action Rifle. Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Firearms, MP18 Submachine Gun. White Silver Tier Elementary Grade Firearms, MG08 Maxim Heavy Machine Gun. Military Industry Lord, their prices are relatively expensive due to the difficulty of making them. The price of a firearm is 5 Green Bronze Tier Mist Cores, 10 Green Bronze Tier Mist Cores, 20 Green Bronze Tier Mist Cores, and 10 White Silver Tier Mist Cores. Military Industry Lord, the standard price for bullets is 1 Black Iron Tier Mist Core for every 20 bullets. Military Industry Lord, boss, how many do you want to buy? Lord of the Blazing Sun, the firearms you made have been recognized by the Supreme Will. Military Industry Lord, yes, I didn't make up the gun level myself. It's the equipment information that automatically appears after the gun is manufactured. Zhou was deep in thought. As half a fan of the military, he knew a little about the firearms mentioned by the other party. They were all firearms from the First World War. The craftsmanship was simple and cheap. He did not expect such an ancient gun to be ranked among the green bronze tier and even white silver tier in the high continent. What about real modern guns, or even future guns? It seemed that the weapons of technological civilizations could not be underestimated in the high continent. At the very least, it was not a problem for them to occupy a place in the high continent. Then, he thought for a moment and started typing a reply: Lord of the Blazing Sun, 50 bullets for each type of firearm, 100,000 bullets for each type of firearm, and 1 million bullets for Maxim alone. Even though there were only 18 musketeers in his territory, bullets were consumed very quickly on the battlefield. It could easily consume thousands of bullets for each battle without a lot of soldiers. After buying so many firearms and ammunition, he shouldn't need to buy more for the time being. Military Industry Lord, boss is generous. Lord of the Blazing Sun, when you're ready, let's trade. Military Industry Lord, all right. For all, a moment later. The Military Industry Lord sent him a transaction. Zhou also took out 6,500 black iron tier Aurora crystals, 1,750 green bronze tier Aurora crystals, and 500 white silver tier Aurora crystals to trade. The mist cores were naturally nothing to him. After all, it was just the black iron tier mist core. He now had more than 16 million of them. He had quite a lot of mist cores of other levels now. Soon, 200 firearms and 130,000 4-model bullets appeared in Zhou's spatial ring. Zhou took out a gun and checked their information. Equipment name, Mauser C96 pistol, equipment grade, green bronze tier advanced grade, capacity, 10 rounds, bullet speed, 850 meters per second, bullet specification, 7.63 by 25 millimeters, effective range, 300 m, damage, green bronze tier elementary grade. The description of the equipment has changed. And why is the bullet's initial velocity and effective range so ridiculous? Zhou was shocked when he saw the attributes of the pistol. If one only looked at the name of this gun, some people might not understand it. However, there were a few very grounded, down-to-earth names in his hometown. For example, a shell gun, a slow-motion machine, box cannon. It has an extremely high rate of appearance in television dramas. Therefore, Zhou knew more about it than other firearms. With his understanding of this spear, its marksmanship speed and effective range were at least 2 times higher than before. Is it because of the materials? Or have they developed more advanced pistol manufacturing techniques? Zhou was deep in thought. If it was someone else, the military-industrial alliance could not be underestimated. He did not say anything else. Why would he care so much? He just had to develop himself well. If he could develop, he would truly be invincible. Then, he looked at the attributes of the other 3 guns. Equipment name, GW98 bolt-action rifle, equipment grade, green bronze tier intermediate grade, capacity, 5 rounds, bullet speed, 850 meters per second, bullet specification, 9 by 19 millimeters, effective range, 300 m, damage, green bronze tier advanced grade. This gun was also very famous. This was because its common name in his hometown was Hanyang. It was also the predecessor of Kar 98K. Zhou realized. It also had twice the initial velocity and effective range of the original. Then he looked at the next gun. Equipment name, MP-18 submachine gun, equipment grade, green bronze tier advanced grade, capacity, 32 rounds, bullet speed, 760 meters per second, bullet specification, 9 by 19 millimeters, effective range, 300 m, damage, green bronze tier advanced grade, MP-18. It was the founder of the submachine guns in the history of the Cerulean planet. After it reached his hometown, it was also known as the flower mechanism. In the end, he looked at the last and only white silver tier elementary grade gun. Equipment name, MG08 Maxim heavy machine gun, equipment grade, white silver tier elementary grade, capacity, 250 rounds, bullet speed, 1,800 meters per second, bullet specification, 7.62 by 57 millimeters, effective range, 4,000 m, damage, green bronze tier advanced grade, whether it's the bullet's initial velocity, effective range, or capacity. It's way better than the first three guns. As expected of a white silver tier elementary grade gun. Zhou clicked his tongue in wonder. After that, he chatted with the military industry lord for a while. The military industry lord gave Zhou a few manuals on how to use these guns. After that, the two of them stopped chatting. Zhou looked at the world channel and realized that the other lords were not sleepy at all. They were all talking about the myriad races lord battlefield tomorrow. Zhou thought for a moment. He opened the marketplace and set up a transaction. In this transaction, he placed 6,000 class change certificates for 3 types of soldier types and 8,000 black iron and bronze skill books. The price was half of the previous auction price. This was because the price of these skill books was much higher during the auction. Half of it was the real price of these skill books. Moreover, these skill books were produced by the monster ranches every day. They were still unable to exhaust all these skill books internally with the current size of the Blazing Sun army. Since that was the case, it was better to sell a portion of these things and the lords needed them the most. This way, he could earn more mist cores. The lords on the World Channel also quickly saw Zhou's new deal and quickly pushed it to the first place. More than an hour later, Zhou opened his transaction and realized that all his things had been sold. He glanced at the transaction results. Trade result, 15,506,000 black iron tier mist cores. It's a huge profit. Zhou sighed. After confirming that he didn't forget to do anything, he returned to his bedroom to sleep. Chapter 152 Upcoming Event. Summoning Subjects. The next day. It was past 3 in the morning. In the master bedroom. Zhou opened his eyes. He was in a daze for a moment before he immediately focused. The Myriad Races Lord Battlefield event is about to begin today. Zhou took a deep breath and opened the World Channel. He realized that most of the lords in the World Channel had woken up early like him. The first official Lords event is about to begin. I'm trembling with excitement and anticipation. Are you sure you ain't scared? What's there to be afraid of? It's just an event. It's not like it's a novice lord test. How can anyone die? I wonder if I can skip this event. This is the first event released by the Supreme Will. The possibility of escaping shouldn't be high. I only have about 300 military professionals under me now. I wonder if I can do this activity. I wonder what the reward for the event is. Which people of foreign race am I going to meet on the battlefield? This Lord's event will be the first step to my rise. Dragon Lady Lord, members of the Dragon Blood Alliance. If you discover anything abnormal later, immediately explain in the group. Overlord Lord, I wonder what the flesh of the people of foreign races taste like. Undead Lord, it seems like the people of foreign races are joining my undead army. Zhou turned off the World Channel and patted his face to cheer himself up. He got up from the bed and walked out of the residence, prepared to summon today's new subjects after a simple wash-up. However, he saw Liya and her maid standing not far away as soon as he went out. Good morning. Zhou was stunned for a moment before saying politely. Good morning, my lord. Liya smiled gently. Do you usually wake up so early as a princess? Zhou walked over and asked curiously. That's not it. Normally I won't be up for about another hour or two. But I heard from someone that today seems to be an important day for the Lord. So I couldn't resist getting up early to take a look. My lord, please don't take offense. Liya said. It's okay. It's not a secret. Zhou Zhou smiled. Liya nodded and asked curiously, is General Wu coming back later? Zhou Zhou acknowledged. I haven't seen General Wu since he resigned. I wonder how he is now. Liya sighed. Don't worry. Old Wu is still strong. His essence, qi, and spirit are even stronger than before. Zhou Zhou smiled. Then I want to see General Wu with my own eyes later. Liya smiled. Zhou Zhou nodded and did not chat further. After bidding her farewell, he came to the gate of summoning. A text notification appeared. Prompt, do you want to summon immediately? Yes. Zhou Zhou said. The next second. The gate of summoning suddenly lit up with a bright white light. Then, the subjects walked out one after another. A moment later. The 189 new subjects walked out of the gate of summoning. Greetings, my lord, X-189. The 189 new subjects said respectfully. Welcome to Blazing Sun City. Zhou Zhou said. Then, he asked all the professionals to stand up and realized that he had summoned a total of 18 military professionals this time. He began to check their interface information. A moment later, the inspection was completed. Among these 18 military professionals, there was one white silver-tier elementary grade medicine cultivator, one white silver-tier elementary grade cavalryman, and one white silver-tier elementary grade scout. In addition, there were 2 green bronze-tier advanced grade merchants, 3 green bronze-tier intermediate grade sword-shield soldiers, 2 green bronze-tier elementary grade carpenters, 2 black iron-tier advanced grade doctors, 3 black iron-tier intermediate grade farmers and 3 black iron-tier elementary grade blacksmiths. I'm lucky today. Zhou Zhou was a little surprised. He didn't expect to have 2 beginner soldiers within the 3 white silver-tier elementary grade subjects. One must know that even Bai Yun was only at white silver-tier elementary grade. These 2 newcomers would directly become the top combat power in his territory. He nodded, satisfied. Then Zhou Zhou asked someone to take them to Zheng Yuanqi to arrange their respective placements and went to the golem lair to summon 126 golems. Zhou Zhou looked at these golems, satisfied. This golem lair was pretty good indeed. It gave him 6 white silver-tier golems every day. With their racial advantages, the other 120 golems were basically able to leapfrog the ranks. At the current stage, it was better than the gate of summoning. However, with subsequent growth, the gate of summoning, which can be continuously upgraded combined with the effects from the title of the glory of the pioneer, would sooner or later surpass this non-upgradable golem lair. Then Zhou Zhou left. A moment later. Figures appeared outside the city gate. It was Wu Xin, Bai Yun, Nazario, and a total of 10,000 professional soldiers. Other than that, Zhou Zhou also saw the boss of the Ox Demon clan A2, and a group of clansmen behind it. Greetings, my lord. Bai Yun, Wu Xin and A2 greeted Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. My lord. This subordinate brought about 300 brothers to work. Are so many workers required in the miniature iron mine of my lord? A2 asked. Don't worry. They are required. Elder Zheng, get someone to arrange for their life and work in the Blazing Sun City. Zhou Zhou instructed Elder Zheng by his side. Yes, my lord. Zheng Yuanqi said respectfully. Come with me. He smiled at A2's day. A2 nodded and followed Zheng Yuanqi into the Blazing Sun City. General Wu. At this moment, Liya brought her maid along with her. Long time no see, General Wu's demeanor remains the same. She smiled lightly. Your Highness is here. Wu Xin was very surprised. He immediately guessed that she must be here for his lord. He had already arranged everything when he resigned, so she probably would not look for him suddenly. Liya nodded with a smile when he told her his theory. Then she looked at Wu Xin, as if she had discovered something, her expression suddenly became hesitant. She became even more bewildered, especially when she saw Bai Yun next to him. "General Wu, why do I feel an aura similar to that of Uncle Zhang and the others on your body?" she asked doubtfully. "Oh, I have become a hero like your Uncle Zhang and the others thanks to my lord's blessing," Wu Xian said with a smile. Li Ya's mouth fell slightly agape. "Became a hero? How is that possible? General Wu only left her father's side for how long? Probably not even half a month. How did he become a hero in such a short period of time?" She came back to her senses in no time. "General Wu, congratulations on getting what you want." Li Yi seemed like she wanted to continue on but she didn't. She only sighed in her heart. If what General Wu said was true, that he became a hero because of this lord beside her, he would probably not return to the Aurora Kingdom with her to continue serving her father knowing him. There was no need for her to try to persuade him, lest she discussed both General Wu and the Lord of the Blazing Sun. This must be the other hero of the Blazing Sun City, Bai Yun, the Blood Fire Arrow Elf, right? "Princess Li Yi greets your excellency." Li Yi saluted slightly. "Your Highness, you are too kind," Bai Yun said respectfully. Emotions were surging through her heart. She was just an inconspicuous soldier before she joined Blazing Sun City. Who would have thought that she would actually be able to make the Aurora Kingdom princess treat her with respect today? She could not help but look at Zhou Zhou before retracting her gaze. Zhou Zhou also saw her gaze. However, he did not think too much about it. "Bai Yun, Elder Wu. Something big will happen in the territory in 2 hours. Time is tight, so I won't say much. Let's go to the monster ranches first," Zhou Zhou said. "Yes, my lord," the two of them said in a low voice. Then, the three of them swiftly led 10,000 military professionals towards the monster ranches. Chapter 153 White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. The Lord's Attribute Panel. 1. Zhou Zhou looked at the monster ranches in front of him. There were already 7 monster ranches, 5 of them had each nurtured 1,500 ranch monsters. Therefore there were a total of 7,500 ranch monsters. Zhou Zhou followed his old rules and asked Nazario to release its dragon might to intimidate these ranch monsters after that. Then, he asked the soldiers and Soul Reaper to start destroying them. Soul Reaper Maris had already advanced to Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade. With the ability of Soul Harvest, all monsters below the Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade could be instantly killed. Zhou Zhou looked at its kill notification. Your subject Maris has killed an elite Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade Wild Sand Believers. Promotion Energy plus 20. Loots condensed. Blessing of the War God, your subject Maris has obtained an additional 40 promotion energy points. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. It felt good to use the blessing of the War God. Killing one was equivalent to killing 3. 5 minutes later. Just as nearly a third of the 7,500 monster ranches were killed, Zhou Zhou suddenly felt a gentle energy appear in his heart and surge into various parts of his body, strengthening his body and soul. I've broken through. I'm finally at the White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. He closed his eyes and immersed himself in the feeling of advancement. A moment later. He came back to his senses. After a while, Soul Reaper Maris had advanced to the Green Bronze Tier Intermediate Grade. Then, Bai Yun had also advanced to the White Silver Tier Intermediate Grade. In the following period of time, many soldiers were also promoted during the slaughter. Many Green Bronze Tier and even Silver Tier soldiers appeared. When there were only more than 1,000 of these 7,500 ranch monsters left. Roar! A dragon roar sounded. Nazario flew into the air and conveyed a joyful emotion to Zhou Zhou. At the same time, fire elemental torrent surged over from all directions and surged into its body. Its body also began to quickly grow to a height of 20 meters. After a long time, the fire elemental torrent disappeared. Nazario's growth finally stopped. At this moment, Nazario had already advanced to the white-silver tier advanced grade. Moreover, its body had already grown to a height of 25 meters. It would be as tall as a 6 to 7-story building if it was on the cerulean planet. It soared freely in the sky and displayed the violent aesthetic figure of a top-notch bloodline creature. It was a wonder in the eyes of everyone. Especially Leah, who was here for the first time, and the maid beside her, were completely stunned. "Your Highness. It's a dragon." The maid, Yu Qiao, said in fear and shock. "It's a pure-blooded dragon." Li Ya's eyes lit up. After a long time, she retracted her gaze and looked at Zhou Zhou, who was not far away. First, General Wu Xian became a hero. Then he has a pure-blooded dragon under his command. How many more methods has this lord not revealed? Li Ya could not help but think. Zhou Zhou looked at Nazario and sighed. A white-silver tier advanced grade Nazario was already so terrifying. How ridiculous would its size be when it grew to the legendary tier? A moment later, these 7,500 ranch monsters were all dealt with. Zhou Zhou took out 8 conquerors' blast furnaces and asked the soldiers to transport the corpses and begin to retrieve the loots. Half an hour later, all the loot had been extracted. Under the effect of the perfect loots, he obtained a total of 36,142 green bronze tier mist cores, 16,540 white silver tier mist cores, and 1,424 yellow gold tier mist cores other than the +1 monster flesh, skill book, potion formula, poison sac, black scorpion poison crossbow, and other normal items. 6,112 soldier type class change certificates. 1,950 Sand Corps Summoner Class Change Certificates. 1,062 Sword Shield Soldier Recruitment Books. 951 Pudeo Soldiers Recruitment Books. 1,112 Poison Crossbow Soldier Recruitment Books. 4,452 kilograms of Light Drawing Crystal. During the collection of the loots, Zhou Zhou brought people into the time ruins again and obtained the loots for the day. Then, he looked at the loots and opened the marketplace to set up a transaction. After which, he threw in 6,000 soldier-type class change certificates, 8,000 desert fog lizards, black-tailed fog scorpion, sandmen, wild sand believers, and the skill books and equipment dropped by the Sand Corps summoners. The rules were the same as before. Each lord could only buy a maximum of 10 items. This could also prevent his goods from feeding a powerful enemy. The effect of such restrictions would be weakened as the lord alliances developed. However, no matter how weak it was, he was the one who benefited the most. Therefore, he was not worried about selling them. That's the mode from now on. Sell them hot from the stove. Zhou Zhou thought. He summoned Bai Yun and asked her to check on the advancement of the soldiers after that. She soon finished the inspection and returned to report to Zhou Zhou. "I've something to report, my lord. A total of 1,164 people advanced just now. 620 of them have advanced to the Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade and Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade. 538 people advanced from Black Iron Tier to Green Bronze Tier. In addition, 16 people have advanced to the White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. We now have a total of 2,342 Black Iron Tier soldiers. 642 Bronze Tier soldiers. 26 White Silver Tier soldiers." Zhou Zhou acknowledged. The effect of the blessing of the war god was very obvious. This number of advancements was at least 3 to 4 times higher than usual. Then, he went to the gate of summoning and threw in all the recruitment books he had just obtained. Soon, recruits walked out of the gate of summoning one after another and stood neatly behind him. Chapter 154 White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. Lord Attribute Panel. 2. A moment later. 1062 Sword Shield Soldiers, 951 Pudeo Soldiers, 1112 Poison Crossbow Soldiers, 384 Elemental Archers, and 12 Elemental Bowmen appeared behind him. Including the military professionals and golems I recruited from the Insight defection in Thorn City yesterday. And the soldiers who died in yesterday's battle. I now have a total of 17,254 soldiers under my command. Zhou nodded slightly. He had so many soldiers, the Aurora Kingdom Towers, the 2 Battle Resurrection Scrolls, and the 70,000-odd Abyss contract books. He finally had some confidence in the upcoming activities in the Myriad Races Lord battlefield. In addition, he had originally wanted to keep the Abyss contract book to deal with the Demon Lord, Artina. However, he suddenly remembered that the Abyss seemed to be a place that emphasized bloodline. He was afraid that the demons he summoned would become the other party's helper, so he changed his mind and did not use these Abyss contract books in the final Supreme Challenge. He did not expect that it would become one of his trump cards to deal with the activities in the Myriad Races Lord battlefield. Then, Zhou found Bai Yun. Bai Yi, yesterday, I bought a batch of weapons suitable for musketeers. They're already in the warehouse. Get the musketeers to master this weapon as soon as possible. These weapons are much better than the muskets in their hands. If you discover that there are also soldiers with talent in using such arms among the other soldiers, you can also make an exception and let them use them. Zhou said. There was no threshold to use the 4 firearms. Subjects of any strength and soldier type could use it. This should be the greatest advantage of the Cerulean planet's arms. Yes, my lord. Bai Yun agreed respectfully. Zhou acknowledged. Then, he handed the 1000 Sand Corps Summoner class change certificate to the other party. You can choose 1000 soldiers to change classes with these class change books. These are intermediate grade combat class. It would not be a loss to them even though the combat method is a little special. Zhou said. It was also Zhou's first time using this combat class. This intermediate grade combat class was definitely not bad, but he wanted to use these 1000 class change certificates to test the waters first. I think I can let soldiers with some deformities on their bodies change their professions. They can't fight to begin with. They can find hope again with this class. Bai Yun suggested. Sure. Zhou agreed with her. My lord. A shout came at this moment. Both of them froze and turned to look. Bao Xiu'er jogged over with a bag. My lord. My teacher heard that the new wind ceremony she gave you previously was already damaged. That's why she specially rushed to make another one these 2 days. My lord, please see if it's suitable. She handed the bag to Zhou. Zhou took it and took a look. He realized that it was still the green bronze tier intermediate grade new wind ceremony. I'm already at the white silver tier elementary grade. Zhou smiled. Ah, Bao Xiu'er was stunned for a moment before she subconsciously said, then I'll tell my teacher today and ask her to create another white silver tier elementary grade new wind ceremony. There's no need to go through so much trouble. This green bronze tier intermediate grade version is good enough. Zhou shook his head. What he valued the most was the flying ability of the new wind ceremony. The rest didn't matter as long as he could fly. How can that be? Wouldn't the new wind ceremony made by teacher become a flying toy then? What should we do about my lord's safety? I'll go back and tell teacher today. Let teacher make another white silver tier elementary grade new wind ceremony. My lord, don't worry. Teacher will work hard. She's now a white platinum tier elementary grade tailor. Making a white silver tier elementary grade equipment is as easy as eating lunch. Bao Xiu'er said curiously. Zhou stopped rejecting. Then, he walked out of the city and looked at the growth rate of the light-drawing crystals. It had been constantly absorbing the energy of the sun over the past 3 days. Currently, more than half of the light-drawing crystal has turned from the original pale white to black. It had officially advanced to a white silver tier construction material, the light origin stone. This caused the original sand crystal city wall to be renamed as the light elemental city wall. Moreover, the city wall level had also advanced from green bronze tier advanced grade to white silver tier elementary grade. However, the only flaw was that there were too few light origin stones. Otherwise, if they were all exchanged for light origin stones, it was even possible to directly advance to the white silver tier advanced grade city wall. However, there was no choice. Since that was the best they could do for the light drawing crystals after all. At this moment, he suddenly received a notification that the transactions had been completed. Zhou opened the marketplace and looked at the transaction results. Trade result, 15,208,800 black iron tier mist cores. He nodded. It was similar to yesterday's. Then, Zhou returned to the residence and took out a large pile of white silver tier elementary grade skill books to learn. He changed all his green bronze tier advanced grade skills for white silver tier elementary grade skills. Then, he changed into a set of fire demon fog wolf outfit, took out the white silver tier elementary grade sandman scepter, and a green bronze tier intermediate grade new wind ceremony. I can finally use this sandman scepter. He looked at the scepter in his hand with emotion. This scepter had been in his hands for a long time. However, he had never been able to use it because of the level he needed to activate it. Then, Zhou opened his Lord Attribute panel. Lord Title, Lord of the Blazing Sun, Combat Class Name, Martial Artist, Strength Level, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Martial Arts Manual, Dark Water Mystic Technique, White Silver Tier Advanced Grade, Gust Blade, Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade, Territory Name, Blazing Sun City, Territory Level, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Regional Territory, Blazing Sun Desert, Black Iron Tier, Sand Gold Land, Black Iron Tier, Thorn Dune, Black Iron Tier, Territory 30,000 times 30,000 times 5,000 Lord Talent, King of Loots, Mythical Tier, Unique, Gnome Alchemy Workshop, Monster Ranches, White Silver Tier, Insight Defection, Peace and Prosperity, Diamond Tier, Return to the City, Black Iron Tier, Mysterious Caravan, Yellow Gold Tier, Master Thief's Robbery Gloves, Legendary Tier, Blessing of the 10 Gods, Territory Buildings, Lord's Residence, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Gate of Summoning, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Imperial Ancestral Temple. White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Race Talent, Elementary Grade Mental Potential, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade, Blood Pool, Diamond Tier Advanced Grade, Embrace, Diamond Tier Advanced Grade, Chaos Physique, Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade, Equipment, Fire Demon Fog Wolf Outfit, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, New Wind Ceremony, Green Bronze Tier Intermediate Grade, Emperor of Sand Spatial Ring, Special, Void Mask, Special, Sandman Scepter, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Skills, Sand Stealth, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Racial Skill, Mental Manipulation, Enhanceable, Racial Skill, Mental Perception, Enhanceable, Racial Skill, Blood Bat Form, Diamond Tier Advanced Grade, Racial Skill, Blood Boiling Technique, Diamond Tier Advanced Grade, Sand Trap Technique, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Deadly State, Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade, Sandification, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Summon Sandman Lord, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Summoning Wild Sand, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Swimming Mastery, Gradeless, Water Spear Technique, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Deep Water Stealth, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Deep Water Heal, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Shrieking Howl, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Soul Roar, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade, Mist Cores. 46,952,875 Black Iron Tier Mist Cores, 176,050 Green Bronze Tier Mist Cores, 49,326 white silver tier mist cores. 2,776 yellow gold tier mist cores, 152 white platinum tier mist cores, origin crystal, 13, Zhou nodded in satisfaction. His lord stats could be said to be luxurious. Especially the mist core column. If the other lords of the world channel saw this, they would probably be dumbfounded. More than an hour later. When it was 6 in the morning. 4 lines of golden text appeared in front of Zhou. It also appeared in front of all the lords who had been waiting for a long time. Supreme will notification, the rest period is over. The first official Lord event, the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield, is about to begin. All official lords, please be prepared. Boom! All the lords of the myriad races were in an uproar. Chapter 155 The Start of the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield. Ranking begins. Introducing the rules of this event will last for 10 days. During this period, a Lord Battlefield function will be added to the list of functions of the Lords. The Lords need to log into the Lord Arena and choose between the Lord Battlefield of your race, and the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield, to participate in the Lord competition, obtain ranking points and complete the respective Lord setting tournament. 10 days later, a Lord whose rank has increased to at least bronze tier and passed the fixed stage competition will be regarded as completing the basic activity goal of this event. He will obtain the corresponding rank reward and rank title. 10 days later, lords who can't complete the basic activity goal will automatically lose their status, memories and everything else. One day in the future, they will walk out of the gate of summoning and become the subjects of other lords of the same race. The higher the rank of the lord, the better the reward and title. Among the lords of the same race, the lord with the highest rank, Myriad Races Lord Battlefield, will obtain the reward of the strongest lord rank and the title of the strongest lord. Among the lords of all races, the lord with the highest rank, Myriad Races Lord Battlefield, will receive the reward of being the strongest lord of all races and the title of the strongest lord of all races. Your Lord Battlefield function has been added to the Lord function. Your initial Lord rank is Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade. You have obtained 3 Black Iron Tier Territory Rebirth tokens, exclusive to the Lord Battlefield. You have automatically obtained 1 ranking. Automatically increases by 1 every day. Zhou looked at the Lord function. On the rightmost side of the Lord's personal information, Cerulean Planet Lord's World Channel, Cerulean Planet Lord's Marketplace, Legendary Tier Reputation Ranking, and Friend List, there was an additional Lord Battlefield function. Zhou was not in a hurry to turn on this function. Instead, he read the rules of the event carefully. He had completely understood the basic rules and muttered to himself a moment later. So it'll be fine as long as my rank reaches at least green bronze tier in 10 days. It will depend on my ability to compete for the reward and title of the strongest lord. Thinking of this, Zhou felt that he could fight for the reward and the title of the strongest lord with his strength. However, he would not underestimate the other lords. Even though his lord talent was very strong. However, his recent experience told Zhou that the Lord talent did not determine everything. This world had many fortuitous encounters and opportunities. For example, the inheritance of the Emperor of Sand, the Golem Lair, and special loots like the Soul Reaper recruitment books. These things were not inferior to many higher-level Lord talents or even to mythical tier Lord talents. If he felt that he could be invincible in the world with his mythical tier Lord talent, then his vision would be too short. Zhou was naturally not that kind of person. Don't think too much about it. Let's complete the basic goal first. Zhou retracted his thoughts. He did not want to become those subjects who walked out of the gate of summoning. Losing his lord status, memories. What was the difference between this and death? He did not even think about the reward and the title of the strongest lord of all races. He knew his limits. He could not defeat those top-notch lords of races. He might be able to catch up to those top lords of the race in the future, but now, he should just obediently fight for the reward and title of the strongest lord among his own race. He stopped thinking and opened the Lord Battlefield interface. He saw 5 interfaces. They were the Lord Battlefield of your race, Myriad Races Lord Battlefield, the Final Battlefield, Battlefield Ranking, and Battlefield Shop. Zhou Zhou clicked on them all. He realized that other than the fact that the Final Battlefield would only be activated 7 days later, the others could be opened. Moreover, he realized that he could actually form a party to battle in the Lord Battlefield of your race, and the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield. However, there could only be 3 people ranked at most, including the person who started the party. It would not work if there were too many. What a strong visual sense of a MOBA 1 game. Zhou Zhou complained in his heart. It would be complete if it had matching and random battle functions. The Battlefield Shop was the function he was most interested in. Zhou Zhou opened the Battlefield Shop and looked at the goods sold there. Battlefield Shop, Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade, 1, Gate of Summoning Reset Card, Remaining Purchases, 10, Price, 1 Black Iron Tier Territory Token, 2, 100 Designated Black Iron Tier Basic Military Professionals, Remaining Purchases, 10, Price, 1 Black Iron Tier Territory Token, 310 Designated Black Iron Tier Basic Lifestyle Professionals, Remaining Purchases, 10, Price, 1 Black Iron Tier Territory Token, 4, Black Iron Tier Resurrection Token, exclusive to the Lord. Battlefield, Remaining Purchases, 10, Price, 1 Black Iron Tier Territory Token, 5, Black Iron Tier Territory Rebirth Token, exclusive to the Lord Battlefield, Remaining Purchases, 10, Price, 3 Black Iron Tier Territory Tokens, 6, Rank plus 1, Remaining Purchases, 1, Price, 5 Black Iron Tier Territory Tokens, Prompt. The goods in the Battlefield Shop will also refresh and become higher level and more valuable goods as the Lord rank continues to increase. He studied these items. The Gate of Summoning Reset card could allow the Gate of Summoning to be reset. From there, he could use the Gate of Summoning a second time to summon subjects or even more times on the same day. There was no need to mention the second and third rewards. It was just a reward that directly increased the number of territory professionals. Fourth reward, Black Iron Tier Resurrection Token. It could be used to resurrect the designated 100 subjects who died in battle in the Black Iron Tier Lord Battlefield. Fifth reward, Black Iron Tier Territory Rebirth Token, exclusive to the Lord Battlefield. After he was defeated, he could restore all the subjects and destroyed territory facilities, including himself, to their previous state. However, it could only be effective on the Black Iron Tier Lord Battlefield and could not be used on lords above Green Bronze Tier. Sixth reward, Rank plus 1. As the name suggested, his rank would increase by 1 if he used it. His current Lord rank was Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade and it would become Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade if he were to use it. We would need a territory token to buy the things inside. Isn't this encouraging us lords to constantly go out to fight during the event? Zhou Zhou sighed. Then, he looked at the territory token he owned. After 2 days of conquest, he still had 2 Green Bronze Tier territory tokens and 9 Black Iron Tier territory tokens. He could barely be considered rich. He could buy a few more Black Iron Tier Resurrection tokens and Black Iron Tier Territory Rebirth tokens. How can I rise in ranking? Zhou Zhou was puzzled. At this moment, a notification appeared, Lord of All Races event hint. During the event, every territory conquered by a lord in reality will obtain a different number of ranking rewards according to the level of the territory conquered. It's really encouraging us to go out and fight. Zhou Zhou complained silently. He stopped thinking about it and walked out of the residence to let Bai Yun and the others prepare for battle. Then, he looked at the Lord Battlefield interface. After looking at the Lord Battlefield of your race, and Myriad Races Lord Battlefield. Zhou Zhou chose the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield, without hesitation. A text notification appeared. Matching with your queuing opponent, match successful. Entering the battlefield. Chapter 156 Go for Lord, Lord Nord. Advancement. When the text notification, entering the battlefield, appeared, Zhou Zhou's body suddenly became illusory before quickly disappearing. The next second, the world in front of him suddenly changed and he arrived at a floating island in the sky. He was surrounded by clouds that were within reach. The island was very neat and was covered in immaculate white bricks. It looked like an arena. At this moment, he was standing on the city wall of Blazing Sun City. Behind him were empty buildings. In the distance, he could vaguely see a rough mud castle standing there. The powerful sixth senses from the chaos human bloodline allowed Zhou Zhou to vaguely see black figures moving there. At this moment, a text notification appeared. You have entered the Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Battlefield. Your opponent and you have been randomly assigned to the Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Battlefield, Sky Island. Your opponent is, the Gopher Lord, Lord Nord. Condition to defeat the enemy, kill all the enemy forces within 24 hours. If you exceed the time limit, both sides will earn negative battle results. Ranking -1. You have 10 minutes to deploy your forces. Countdown, 9 minutes, 59 seconds, time was ticking away. A white virtual screen appeared in front of Zhou Zhou. It displayed the forces he could deploy. He glanced at it and realized that almost all the subjects under his command were included in the faction units displayed on it, including his 17,254 military professionals, Bai Yun, Wuxia, Nazario, Soul Reaper Maris, and other professionals. Even ordinary subjects without profession could be summoned by him and deployed on Sky Island. Zhou Zhou felt relieved. It seemed that he did not have to worry about not being able to unleash his combat strength after the battlefield changed. Then, he summoned all the subjects with combat strength and even Bai Yuejing and the other doctors. Greetings, my lord. After Bai Yun and Wuxia climbed up the city wall, they immediately said respectfully to Zhou Zhou. Get ready. This is the battlefield where we will deal with the forces of the people of foreign races. They're a lord faction from the Gopher race. We have to destroy all the other party's forces within 24 hours. Only then can we leave as victors. Zhou Zhou said. Yes. The two of them said respectfully and led the way. Then, Wuxia began to arrange for the soldiers to climb up the city wall and set up defenses. He also activated the Aurora Kingdom Tower and prepared to attack at any time. Bai Yun looked at the battlefield for 2 seconds and frowned. This kind of terrainless battlefield depends on the strength and advantage of both sides. Let's go all out. Zhou Zhou said in a low voice. He did not feel relaxed. The Myriad Races Lord battlefield had just begun. At this moment, there would definitely be a mix of good and bad lords participating in the Lord battlefield. He might encounter very, very weak lords, but it was also possible that he would encounter top-notch lords of races like the Dragon Lord, the Titan Lord, and the Demi Lord. The reason why he challenged the Myriad Races Lord battlefield the moment he arrived and not the Lord battlefield of his race was because firstly, he still had the territory rebirth token and could trial and error. Secondly, if he wanted to obtain the title of the strongest lord, he had to achieve the best results among his race in the Lord battlefield. Under such circumstances, every ranking opportunity was precious. That was why Zhou Zhou chose the Myriad Races Lord battlefield immediately. The Gopher Lord opposite him did not sound like much. However, it might be a top lord of the Gopher race. Therefore, Zhou Zhou did not dare to underestimate it. Soon, Wuxia finished deploying all the soldiers. Another 5 minutes passed. A text notification appeared. Deployment time has ended. The Lord War has begun. It's starting. Zhou Zhou said. At the same time, his gaze was fixed on the distant castle. Everyone, get ready. Bai Yi shouted. Yes. Everyone said angrily. Their voices shook the world. Time passed, but both Zhou Zhou and the Gopher Lord opposite him did not make any moves. Zhou Zhou was not anxious at all. There were 24 hours. He had complete patience to stall the other party. However, if the other party did not come out in 6 hours, Zhou Zhou planned to let Nazario go directly to the other side to take a look. Under such circumstances, he had no intention of hiding his strength. More than an hour later, Zhou Zhou suddenly heard a rustling sound from the ground. Do you hear anything? He frowned. Bai Yun and Wuxia looked at each other and shook their heads. Nazario growled and looked at the ground coldly with its scarlet dragon eyes. The enemy is underground. Zhou Zhou immediately said. All long-range soldiers, apply the blood eye potion immediately. Bai Yun realized something and immediately ordered. After the 7,333 long-range soldiers heard the order, they immediately took out a bottle of blood eye potion and smeared it on their eyelids. The next second, they were shocked to see dense red dots rushing towards the ground of Blazing Sun City. There were 6,000 to 7,000 of them. All long-range soldiers, immediately shoot freely and destroy all the enemies underground. Bai Yun ordered decisively even though she was surprised by their numbers. With that, she took out her bow and arrow and shot 5 fire vine arrows into the ground. The other long-range soldiers also shot arrows to attack. Their arrows shattered the bricks and shot into the ground with their powerful strength. At this moment, Soul Reaper Maris' soul had already flown out. It flew underground and began to harvest the souls of these gophers. Kill notifications quickly appeared. Your subject Bai Yun has killed a green bronze tier elementary grade gopher. Promotion energy plus 20. Loots condensed. Blessing of the War God, your subject Bai Yun has received an additional 40 promotion energy points. Your subject Zhang Qianhe has killed a black iron tier intermediate grade gopher. Promotion energy plus 4. Loots condensed. Blessing of the War God, your subject, Zhang Qianhe, has obtained an additional 8 promotion energy points. Your subject Soul Reaper, Maris, has killed a green bronze tier elementary grade gopher. Promotion energy plus 20. Loots condensed. Blessing of the War God, your subject, Soul Reaper Maris, has obtained an additional 40 promotion energy points. At that time, many gophers were killed accompanied by a large number of screams from the depths of the ground. Black blood gushed out from the ground. It dyed the originally neat and clean ground into a terrifying black. This group of gophers wanted to bypass the defense of the city wall from the ground and attack us from within. Nice try. Wuxia walked over and chuckled. Zhou Zhou also smiled and nodded. This city wall was built by Zhao Changshou, a veteran architect. How could he ignore tunnels? Therefore, Zhao Changshou had already built an underground city wall when he was building the city wall to prevent the enemy from entering the city through digging tunnels. Other than that, he also placed a water jar at intervals on the inner edge of the city wall and a clay urn underground. He also got people to specially guard the vicinity. When the water in the water jar rippled or heard any movements through the underground pottery urn, one would discover that a life form was digging a tunnel underground. This was done to resist this method of digging tunnels to attack the city. This was the most ordinary method to prevent the tunnel from attacking the city. It was said that in the big city of the Aurora Kingdom, there were even monster trainers who specially raised a monster called Ground Listening Dog, to listen to the movements underground and kill enemies from underground. The effect was even better than this. A moment later, all the gophers which came to launch a sneak attack died underground. Soon, a corpse of a gopher was dug out and brought to Zhou Zhou. He looked at the corpse. Item name, Gopher's corpse, item level, black iron tier intermediate grade, item effect, a corpse of a foreign race that is about to dissipate. Item description, fog monster killed by the soldiers of Blazing Sun City. Prompt, in a minute, this corpse will disappear and revive in the other party's territory. Loots drop rate, none, no loots. Zhou raised his eyebrows. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation. However, he immediately understood the reason why there were no loots when he saw the notification. It was the territory rebirth token. Its current death would not be considered a true death because the other party had the territory rebirth token to revive, which was why this situation happened. The situation should be different if both its territory rebirth token and resurrection token were used up. He stopped thinking about it. Zhou looked at the Gopher clan's castle in the distance. He thought for a moment and looked at Soul Reaper Maris. Get rid of all the enemies that can be dealt with inside. Zhou said. Yes, my lord. Maris bowed slightly in its soul state and flew straight into the castle. Soon, kill notifications sounded one after another. Zhou looked at these kill notifications. Suddenly, a different kill notification appeared in front of him. Your subject Soul Reaper, Maris, has killed an intermediate green bronze tier intermediate grade Gopher Lord, Lord Nord. Promotion energy plus 40. Loots condensed. Blessing of the War God, your subject, Soul Reaper Maris, has obtained an additional 80 promotion energy points. A smile appeared on Zhou's face. The other party's lord had been killed by him. Then this competition was set. He looked at the black bloodstains all over the ground below the city wall and suddenly felt a little emotional. He did not expect the foreign race he met to be so strong. There were 6,000 to 7,000 Gophers. This was already comparable to the strength of the top lords of the Cerulean planet. The strength of the myriad race's lord battlefield was indeed high. A moment later, a golden text notification appeared as the last black iron tier advanced grade Gopher was killed. You have defeated the Gopher Lord, Lord Nord, black iron tier elementary grade, and obtained victory in this competition. Congratulations, you have advanced to the black iron tier intermediate grade in the myriad race's lord battlefield. You need to participate in at least one ranking competition every 3 days. Otherwise, your rank will -1. Your battlefield shop has been updated. I've advanced. Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Chapter 157 Index of All Races, Book 1. A Fight Between Immortals. When Zhou saw that he had advanced, he did not stay any longer. He chanted, "Return," and left the Lord battlefield with everyone. At the same time, millions of kilometers away from Blazing Sun City, under a rough and simple mud castle, Lord Nord's body trembled and it suddenly woke up from its bed. I actually lost my first battle. Its eyes were filled with disbelief. It could only be considered one of the lowest ranking amongst the endless top-notch Gopher Lords, but it was also a genuine top-notch Gopher Lord. Its strength naturally could not be underestimated. Originally, it was very confident that it could rely on this myriad race's Lord battlefield event to become the strongest Lord among the top Gopher Lords. However, it never dreamed that it would actually lose in its first battle. Moreover, it had lost to the human race. In the past, they were known as the Gopher Calamity and humans could only flee in front of them. It had bathed in glory for a long time. When has it ever suffered such grievances? It had just used all the rewards from the Novice Lord test. Then, Lord Nord recalled the scene it had just seen. It could not help but tremble, fear appeared in its eyes. It remembered the scene where it could only watch helplessly as its subjects fell silently in front of it without even being injured. It could not even touch their shadows and could only wait for death. It felt a lingering fear even now. Why is my luck so bad? I encountered such a big pervert the moment I entered. Lord Nord cursed. Then, it looked at its territory rebirth token. That was indeed the case. There were only 2 left. This made it even more helpless. Then, it looked at its rank demotion notification. I'm only at the Black Iron Tier elementary grade. It shouldn't be able to drop anymore, right? It muttered. Then, it was immediately dumbfounded when it saw the rank. Gopher Race, Lord Nord's ranking, -1 rank, ranking on the myriad races Lord Battlefield, not included in the ranking. Blazing Sun City. After Zhou Zhou returned with his men, he let the soldiers rest while he returned to the Lord's residence. In the living room, Zhou Zhou opened the battlefield shop in the Lord Battlefield. In the end, he realized that other than the previous things, there was something new inside. 7. Index of all races, Book 1, remaining purchases, 1, price, 1 Black Iron Tier territory token, index of all races. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. Then, he opened the item's information. Treasure name, index of all races, Book 1, treasure grade, Black Iron Tier, treasure effect, a former mythical tier treasure. It records the detailed information of the races that are born and destroyed at all times in the myriad worlds. It can be used to search for the race information you want to know. Treasure description, originally a mythical tier treasure, but it was split into 10 volumes by the Supreme Will and is used to enlighten the lords of all races. Prompt, the index of all races is divided into 10 volumes. The first lord to collect all 10 volumes will obtain the complete mythical tier treasure, the index of all races. Zhou Zhou exclaimed after reading it. It took a mythical tier treasure and forcefully split them just to enlighten the lord about the races? Only an existence like the Supreme Will could do such a prodigal thing, right? Then, Zhou Zhou spent a Black Iron Tier territory token without hesitation to buy the index of all races, Book 1. This thing was naturally very useful to him. Or rather, it was very useful to all the lords who aspired to reach the top of the Lord of all races. With it, in the future when he faced other lord races that he had never seen before, at least he did not have to worry that he would suffer a loss in terms of information because he did not understand the other party's race. For example, in his first lord competition today. If he had known that Gopher's burrowing ability was so strong, he would not have to wait for the Gophers to approach before sensing their movements. Instead, he would have asked Bai Yun to lead the military professionals to apply the Blood Eye, ready to kill the Gopher enemies who dared to approach them at any time before the battle began. A thick book with a dark brown surface appeared in Zhou Zhou's hand out of thin air. The moment he obtained the book, the method of using it appeared in his mind. Zhou Zhou willed and the appearance of the Gopher race that had just been killed appeared in his mind. As a weak energy surged into the index of all races, Book 1, the next second, the book lit up slightly before calming down. Zhou Zhou sensed that the thick book in his hand had loosened, so he flipped it gently to the first page. A vivid image of a gopher was drawn on the first page. Beside it was its racial information. Gopher race, a gopher race from the mud world. In the primordial world, they have the title as a creature of natural disaster. They grow and reproduce extremely quickly. As long as there's enough energy, they can quickly grow and reproduce. In order to satisfy the energy needs, they wantonly expanded the scale of their race in the mud world, plundered and devoured the various resources and turned them into their own energy. Later on, the Supreme will summon them to the high continent, so the gopher race is so powerful. Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue in wonder. Then, he did some experiments and tried the index of all races, Book 1, on all the races he had seen and heard of. In the end, he successfully learned many secrets about many races. It's indeed good stuff. Zhou Zhou looked at the index of all races, Book 1, in his hand and was very satisfied. Then, he stopped experimenting and opened the battlefield ranking. What greeted his eyes were 2 items. One was the Lord Battlefield of your race ranking, and the other was the Myriad Races Lord battlefield ranking. Zhou Zhou opened both and took a look. Cerulean Planet Human Race, Lord of the Blazing Sun, Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade, Lord Battlefield of your race ranking, excluded in the ranking, Cerulean Planet Human Race, Lord of the Blazing Sun, Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade, Myriad Races Lord Battlefield ranking, 1,807,046,425,216. Oh my fucking god, there are 1,807 billion lords who gained the Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade so quickly. Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue. However, he was not surprised. There were 6 billion human lords from the Cerulean planet alone. There would be many, many billions of lords if they combined all the races. To be honest, there was luck involved for him to be ranked at this position. He did not know how many Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade lords there were behind him. Then, he looked curiously at who the top 3 lords of all races were. Original Spirit Race, True Tier, Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade, Myriad Races Lord Battlefield Ranking, 1st. Chaos Gods Race, Great 1 Tier, Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade, Myriad Races Lord Battlefield Ranking, 2nd. Extreme Dragon Race, Extreme Venerable Tier, Yellow Gold Tier Intermediate Grade, Myriad Races Lord Battlefield Ranking, 2nd. A Fight Between Immortals. Zhou Zhou sighed after reading it. Chapter 158 I'm willing to call you the strongest in terms of thick-skinnedness. Zhou Zhou quickly became puzzled again. How did their ranks increase so quickly? Logically speaking, didn't all of them, who had just joined the battlefield of the lords of all races, only have one chance to rank? For example, the fact that this true lord of the original spirit race could advance to a yellow gold tier advanced grade lord in such a short period of time meant that it had completed a total of 12 rankings in less than 2 hours. Where did its remaining 11 ranking opportunities come from? He pondered a moment and had a guess. The other party had probably begun to attack the territories of many foreign race lords or scarlet lords before the Myriad Races Lord battlefield started. After the event began, these attacked territories were quickly conquered, giving these top-notch lords many chances to rise in ranks. That was why the ranks of these top lords were raised so high in such a short period of time. I'm afraid it won't be long before the first mythical lord is born. Zhou Zhou thought. Honestly, while he knew that the difference between him and these top-notch lords might be huge, he did not expect it to be such a huge gap. He was only at the Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade while others were already Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade. He shook his head and stopped thinking about it. He was a little shocked, but he was still very confident in his future with his mythical lord talent. After that, he opened his friend list and opened Linger's chat to type. Lord of the Blazing Sun, are you ranked? Spiritual Medicine Lord, brother, I've just finished. Wow! I encountered a group of cute slimes. Spiritual Medicine Lord, but I still got the soldiers to kill them. Lord of the Blazing Sun, yes, well done. Don't pity the enemy. Being kind to them is cruel to yourself and your subjects. Spiritual Medicine Lord, yes, yes. Brother, how's it going on your side? You must have won too, right? Lord of the Blazing Sun, yes, the victory went quite smoothly. When Zhou Zhou wrote this, he suddenly pondered for a few seconds before typing, Lord of the Blazing Sun, let's team up in the future. The two of us together will have a higher chance of winning. Spiritual Medicine Lord, but I'm relatively weak. I might be a burden to you. Lord of the Blazing Sun, why are you still talking about this when you're already calling me brother? Just listen to me. Spiritual Medicine Lord, thank you, brother. You're the best. Lord of the Blazing Sun, okay. Zhou Zhou's decision was not without reason. During this period of time, Linger had been sending him all kinds of medicinal herbs every day. An increasingly larger amount of them. His soldiers were growing extremely quickly, but he had never worried about a shortage of potions even under such circumstances. The most important reason was that the amount of medicinal herbs Linger provided had never disappointed him. Moreover, the Lord of all Races battlefield had already begun. Not only did their cerulean planet lord need internal competition, but the pressure on foreign race lords from outside also began to increase. He knew that it was difficult to hold on alone. He could not be the only strong cerulean planet lord. He needed more allies. He could not count on the other lords, and he had never expected to count on them. Zhou was already familiar with Linger. As a legendary tier lord talent holder, and his god-sister, he currently felt that she was someone he could nurture as an ally. That was why he proposed to help her in a duo. Her support ability was very strong while her combat strength was still relatively weak. Working together could complement each other. Then, he began typing again, Lord of the Blazing Sun, during this period of time, try your best to get the soldiers to conquer a few foreign race territories or scarlet territories and obtain some territory tokens. This way, you can exchange for the goods in the battlefield shop. Lord of the Blazing Sun, I've seen the things inside. They're quite good. Spiritual Medicine Lord, yes, brother, I know. I've already conquered the territories of 3 Scarlet Lords. I've been planning to defeat the regional lord in my area recently. Zhou was stunned. Then, he could not help but shake his head. He seemed to treat the other party as a child and wanted to instruct her about everything. However, Linger was a very smart girl in her own right, she could think of whatever he could think of. Lord of the Blazing Sun, I don't think I've ever seen you say anything on the World Channel. Don't you sell the medicinal herbs you nurtured in the marketplace? Spiritual Medicine Lord, the herbs in my herb garden are enough for you alone. Lord of the Blazing Sun. You don't have to do this. Your lord's talent is very strong. You can make a name for yourself in the exchange under the premise that you don't expose yourself. This way, you can earn more mist cores to allow you to develop better. Lord of the Blazing Sun, if possible, you can collect more potion formulas and medicinal herb seeds on the World Channel. You won't be able to use them now, but you will one day. Spiritual Medicine Lord, alright, he'll listen to you. Then, the two of them chatted for a while before ending the conversation. Zhou looked at the content of their conversation and felt a little pressured. Linger relied too much on him. He did not refuse this dependence, but he felt that this reliance was not good for Linger. Still, I can't set the expectation for a little girl like I would an adult. She's already done a great job. Zhou shook his head. Then, he opened the World Channel to see the reactions of the lords. However, Zhou was stunned when he saw the first sentence from the lords. Why is the lord rank -1? Is -1 rare? -2. Crying, don't tell me that we have climbed up the negatives rank by rank. Probably. Fuck. I thought that we can afford to lose a few rounds since we can fight a few more times and would definitely be able to reach the green bronze tier if we are lucky. Won't we die directly if we lose a few rounds in a row? Why would the Supreme will leave such a thing for us to take advantage of? Why are these foreign race lords so abnormal? There are many lord friends in my friend list who couldn't defeat the foreign race lords and directly became negative ranking. This might be evil, but I would still suggest that lords who are not confident in their strength fight our own kind if they are not too good. The battlefield of foreign race lords is not something ordinary lords can fight. I'll start. Everyone, let's do it. Top-notch lords have the boldness of top-notch lords indeed. I just looked at the rankings of the lords of the same race and realized that most of the top-notch lords are not on the rankings. They should have gone to fight the lords of all races battlefield. I saw it too. I didn't expect the Night Lord to be ranked first on our rankings. The Night Lord is really thick-skinned. The Night Lord really has the cheek to sit in this position. Did he ask the Lord of the Blazing Sun, the Dragon God Lord, the Overlord Lord, the Dragon Lady Lord, and the others? Knight Lord, I relied on my strength to sit in this position. What right do you have to criticize me? If you have the ability, come up and squeeze me out. If the Lord of the Blazing Sun and the others don't sit in this position, why can't I? You're quite thick-skinned to say that. I'm willing to call you the strongest in terms of thick-skinnedness. Knight Lord. Zhou thought for a while before remembering this person. When the Cerulean Planet Lord first descended on the High Continent, this person became famous for a few days because he revealed on the World Channel that he had the Diamond Tier Lord talent, Night Hall, which could nurture combat spirit knights. Later on, the Dragon Lady and the others rose one after another. This person gradually faded from the vision of the other lords. Later on, this person seemed to have established a Knight Council and become famous again when the alliances had just gained in popularity. However, Zhou did not pay much attention to him. He did not expect him to become famous again today. However, the way of gaining popularity. Zhou shook his head. He had to start an internal strife instead of showing his diamond tier talents against the foreign race lords. He did not agree with this method. Nonetheless, everyone had their own choices. Zhou could not interfere, nor would he interfere for no reason. At this moment, he saw a few different lord comments that made him narrow his eyes. Storm Lord, the Night Lord is thick-skinned, but not as ruthless as the Lord of the Blazing Sun. The Night Lord is only fighting against his own kind on the battlefield, but the Lord of the Blazing Sun has actually attacked our human compatriots in reality. Moreover, this isn't the first time. Everyone, take a closer look. With that, the other party even put up a screenshot of his friend list. It showed the name of the Thorn Lord. However, this name had already dimmed. Storm Lord, poor brother Thorn Lord. He died tragically under the hands of the Lord of the Blazing Sun just like that. There were many comments below that echoed his words. I could tell what kind of person the Lord of the Blazing Sun was from the moment he took down Lord Mighty. I'm not surprised that he did such a thing now. The Lord Battlefield is cruel, but there's no need to be so cruel to your own kind, right? Killing him just like that. My condolences. Everyone, you must be careful of the Lord of the Blazing Sun. Wouldn't he attack more Cerulean Planet Lords next time if he could attack Lord Mighty and the Thorn Lord today? No way. No way. There are still people clearing Lord Mighty's name now. Zhou looked at the Storm Lord's name. He knew this person. Thorn Lord had mentioned this person's name when he first told him about the conspiracies. This person was said to be one of the initiators of the Sun Extermination Association, scheming to deal with him. Looks like the Thorn Lord hasn't taught them a good enough lesson. They still want to deal with me. Zhou thought. As for the reason why the other party defamed him and spread the threat theory of the Blazing Sun, he could imagine it even with his toes. He was probably afraid that he would fight him one day, so he wanted to use this method to attract more lords to join his Sun Extermination Association and increase their strength and alliance. This way, he could take the initiative to deal with him after accumulating strength. Thinking of this, Zhou's expression turned cold. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.